Chapter 1 Chapter 001 The System Awakens, What a Damn Charisma! In the elevator, Chen Hao met her again. Today she was wearing a tight-fitting dress. The dress tightly wrapped her curvy body, showing off the beauty of a mature woman's curves to the fullest. Her slender legs were wrapped in mysterious black stockings. She walked slowly into the elevator, her slender waist swaying with endless charm. Her swaying figure looked exceptionally seductive, and people's attention was drawn to her unconsciously. She smells good. Once she got into the elevator, the entire elevator was filled with the fragrance emanating from her body. What a demon! Chen Hao couldn't help but feel moved. This woman and Chen Hao both rented in this community, and the two were neighbors. Although the two had never spoken. But Chen Hao had noticed her long ago. Nonsense! How could you not notice? If you had a young woman who wore such sexy clothes every day walking around in front of you, would you not notice? After she got into the elevator, she gave Chen Hao a brief indifferent glance before turning away. That cold stare made Chen Hao feel extremely uncomfortable. Damn it! Is this condescending? If I were rich, I would definitely make you kneel before me and sing your praises. Chen Hao knew that with a woman like this, trying to conquer her? Talk about feelings? Don't be silly. You can talk about feelings with an inexperienced young girl, but the most effective and best way to deal with a young woman who has already experienced the trials and tribulations of society is? One word. Money. When you throw a wad of bills in front of her, will you see if she's still so indifferent? She'll definitely be as docile as a little kitten. Of course, there's another possibility. That is, you have to be good-looking enough. Some young women or rich women have a special fondness for handsome little puppies. The sad thing is, Chen Hao doesn't have either of these things. Ding, the host's strong desire to become rich has been detected, and the super godly rich system has officially started. Startup successful. Binding with host in progress. Binding successful. Novice gift pack automatically distributed. Gift pack 1, looks plus 20, body shape plus 20, charm plus 20. Gift pack 2, a set of commercial housing. Gift pack 3, 100% ownership of Stardream Company. Ding, novice gift pack distributed successfully. Chen Hao was taken aback by these sudden thoughts. Was this a case of hearing voices? No, wait. Why do I feel like my pants are shorter? And my shirt? Have I grown taller? Chen Hao immediately took out his phone and pointed the camera at himself. He looked at the screen and saw a completely different person. He was truly shocked. One word. Handsome. 2 words. Really handsome. 5 words. Really, really handsome. Chen Hao's appearance was only considered average and had nothing to do with handsome. If a 100-point appearance scale was used, his appearance would be a little over 70 points. But now, with an increase of 20 points, his appearance had jumped from over 70 points to over 90 points. Even Chen Hao himself couldn't help but marvel. If I were a woman, I would definitely fall in love with you. So, the voice that just appeared in his head was real? I've awakened the godly house system. Wow, I'm rich. After confirming that this was real, Chen Hao's mood was incredibly excited. Is this going to be a big change, and from now on, will he be at the top of his game? Reminder, the property ownership certificate has been placed in the host's backpack, and the host can move in at any time. The voice of the system came again. Chen Hao immediately took off his backpack and sure enough, he saw a red notebook in it. Chen Hao wanted to take a look to see what kind of commercial housing the reward was. Open the property ownership certificate. At this time, I don't know what's wrong with the elevator, it even shook a little. Chen Hao subconsciously grabbed the handrail next to him. It was a close call, but he didn't fall. However, the property ownership certificate fell to the ground. Mindu number 1? Real estate? The young woman in black silk stared at the property ownership certificate on the ground, her eyes instantly rolling around wildly. Surprised. This is the property ownership certificate for the Mindu number 1 residential area? He actually has real estate in Mindu number 1? Mindu number 1 is one of the most high-end residential areas in all of Mindu. Let's put it this way. The status of Mindu No. 1 is equivalent to that of Thomson Riviera in Shanghai. One word. Expensive. It is said that the starting price of a square meter of housing there is 200,000 yuan. And they are all large suites starting from 400 square meters. In other words, the cheapest house is close to 100 million yuan, and this is a place where only the truly wealthy in Mindu can live. Being able to have a house there is definitely a symbol of status. The young woman was shocked beyond words when she saw the words Mudu number 1 written on the property ownership certificate spread out on the ground. Could it be that this young man living next door to her was a rich second generation who had come out to experience life? And then, something even more surprising happened to the young woman. When she focused her attention on Chen Hao, she was once again shocked. He was so handsome. Even the young woman, who was used to seeing handsome men and beautiful women, was captivated by Chen Hao's appearance. More importantly, there was also an indistinct aura about him that deeply attracted her. Is this the charm of male hormones? Damn it, why didn't I notice how handsome he was before? At this time, the young woman in black silk had an idea. Oops. When the elevator was shaking just now, I twisted my ankle. It hurts. I can't walk anymore. Can you help me up? The young woman screamed, immediately holding onto the elevator handrail, her expression showing some pain. She looked at Chen Hao with pitiful eyes. As the saying goes, a close neighbor is better than a distant relative. Naturally, you have to help in times of trouble. Okay. I'll help you go home. Chen Hao picked up the property ownership certificate and then grabbed her right arm to help her. Up close and personal. The woman's scent intensified. Soon, the elevator arrived. Chen Hao helped her out of the elevator, and she lived right next to it. The young woman unlocked the door with her fingerprint. Chen Hao helped her into the living room and placed her on the sofa. He was about to leave. At this time, the situation suddenly changed. The young woman's hands suddenly hooked around Chen Hao's neck, and her body pressed up against him. Chen Hao glared, this woman's feet are not good. Cheated. What happened next was even more unexpected for Chen Hao. He saw the young woman exhale like orchid and say, young man, it's a long night, how about getting to know each other better? Chapter 2 Chapter 002 Becoming the Rich Guy I Used to Hate. The next morning, early in the morning, Chen Hao was woken up by the young woman. Wake up, wake up. Chen Hao opened his eyes dazedly and saw the young woman's nervous face. Last night was really crazy. The two of them discussed life until the middle of the night before they went to sleep. Chen Hao was exhausted. His back still ached a little. I worked so hard last night, can't you let me sleep a little longer this morning? What's wrong? Chen Hao said confusedly. Hurry up and go, my godfather is coming. Upon hearing this, Chen Hao instantly lost all sleepiness and immediately woke up. Staring at her. This woman is a liar. A big liar. You said you weren't married? You said you were single? Don't look at me like that. I never lied to you. I am single and I have never been married. I just forgot to tell you that I have a godfather. Chen Hao. Fine. You win. A gentleman does not take advantage of others. Then I'll take my leave. An hour later, Chen Hao appeared on the top floor of Mindu number 1. Standing in the middle of the living room, he looked at the layout and his eyes widened in surprise. The decoration is so luxurious. And there's everything you could possibly need in terms of furniture. I can't be dreaming, can I? Chen Hao still couldn't quite believe it. He pinched himself on the thigh. Yay! It hurts. It's not a dream, it really isn't a dream. From today onwards, I'm one of the property owners, and I own a luxurious duplex that most people struggle with their whole lives to own. After that, Chen Hao carefully observed the suite. It's a duplex, divided into 2 floors. The first floor is 800 square meters. In total, it's 1,600 square meters. The decoration here is so luxurious that it's outrageous, and every piece of furniture is a world-famous brand. For example, the sofa in the living room is from Poltrona Frau, which is known as the Rolls-Royce of leather sofas. Another example is the chandelier above your head, which is from Swarovski. It's hard to imagine that there is even an aerial swimming pool of more than 300 square meters. If you find a few girls to throw a party here, wouldn't it be so much fun? Chen Hao took off his clothes. He jumped into the pool with a splash and swam for an hour before getting out. Ding dong, ding dong. As soon as Chen Hao got out of the water, the doorbell rang. Hearing the sound, Chen Hao immediately got dressed. Hello, Mr. Chen? Are you home? A voice came from the door. It was a woman's voice. Chen Hao walked over and opened the door. As soon as the door opened, a nice perfume smell hit him. Standing at the door was a beautiful woman wearing black silk. Her upper body was a beige shirt. The shirt had shrunk a little, showing off her small waist and making her breasts look especially full. Below that was a black wraparound skirt. Inside was a pair of black stockings full of mystery. Standing in the doorway, Luo Qingyan wore a professional smile. "Hello Mr. Chen, I am the property manager of Mindu No. 1, my name is Luo Qingyan, you can call me Xiao Luo." "It's not very good to call you Xiao Luo." "Sister Luo." Chen Hao laughed. Chen Hao was not sure how old Luo Qingyan was, but he could tell that she was definitely over 25. Chen Hao was currently in his 4th year of university. He has no classes for the last 6 months and is currently on an internship. He still has to go back to school in a few days to get his diploma. He is 22 years old. It is not too much to call her sister. The words Sister Luo made Luo Qingyan's impression of Chen Hao greatly improve. This super local tyrant is quite approachable. And he is really handsome. Even with Chen Hao's appearance, Luo Qingyan can't help but marvel. The owners of this property are not just rich businessmen, but also some celebrities. But even these big stars with millions of followers and who think they are so handsome are nothing compared to Chen Hao in front of her. It's like night and day. "Mr. Chen, you're too kind." Luo Qingyan smiled. "Mr. Chen, the reason I came to see you this time is because this is your first time living here, and I want to ask you if you have any requests for our property." "I want to ask, how much is this suite worth?" These words left Luo Qingyan a little confused. "You bought the house yesterday, and today you're asking me how much it's worth? You don't know how much your own house is worth? Could it be that his family bought it for him?" "Yes, he's so young, it's impossible for him to have earned so much money at such a young age. His family bought the house for him with the full payment, so he wouldn't know the price." "Just who is this young master from? His family is so generous that they can afford to buy the penthouse here with the full payment?" Luo Qingyan became more and more curious about Chen Hao's background. With patience, she said, "Mr. Chen, this is our building's king unit. It costs 250,000 yuan per square meter, with a total area of 1,600 square meters, and a total price of 400 million yuan. Upon hearing 400 million yuan, Chen Hao's heart couldn't take it for a moment, and his adrenaline shot up crazily. "Surprised? I've got over 100 million yuan in assets?" Luo Qingyan wore a sweet smile. "Mr. Chen, can I add you on WeChat for future communication? You can contact me directly if you have any future needs." Hearing this, Chen Hao couldn't help but feel emotional. Until now, no girl had ever taken the initiative to ask him for WeChat. Not to mention a woman of Luo Qingyan's caliber. "Come in and chat." Chen Hao took the initiative to invite her. Luo Qingyan hesitated for a moment, but she eventually came in. It was half an hour later before Luo Qingyan left. Chen Hao, on the other hand, was comfortably lying on the sofa, looking at the large room and feeling a myriad of emotions. At this time yesterday, he was still worrying about next month's rent. After working hard for several months as an intern, he was fired last month and now doesn't even have a job. If he goes back to school in a few days in such a dismal state to get his diploma, he will definitely be laughed at. And now, in the blink of an eye, he owns a huge house worth 400 million. In the past, Luo Qingyan, a woman with $1 million salary, good looks, and a great figure, would never even look at him. It was just like the young woman who lived next door that he met in the elevator, who didn't even pay him any attention before. But now, she's offering herself up. And Luo Qingyan, a property manager who is a super white-collar worker earning $1 million a year, is asking for WeChat. He invited her into the room himself, and she, being a lonely woman, just hesitated slightly before coming in. It was obvious that she also wanted to take things further. A popular saying on the internet goes, being good-looking doesn't necessarily get you everything you want. But being good-looking and rich really does. The phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. Chen Hao picked it up, and a flirtatiously feminine voice came over the line. "Hello, Chairman Chen, when are you available to come to the company?" "Chairman Chen? Go to the company? I'll go. I forgot that the starter pack also came with a 100% stake in a company called Star Dream Company." "Hello, who are you?" "Let me introduce myself, I am your secretary, my surname is Su, my name is Mo Yen, you can call me Xiao Su." Hearing her voice, Chen Hao couldn't help but think of a celebrity, Sister Qi Ling. Squeaky. It's so flattering. Just listening to the voice made Chen Hao unable to bear it. Although he has not yet met her in person, just by hearing her voice, he knows that she must be a demon without a doubt. No wonder she can become the secretary of the chairman. Chen Dong, this is the situation. I shouldn't bother you, but there are 2 important matters at the company today that require your decision. Do you have time to come to the company? Chen Hao nodded. I'm free. Secretary Su's voice, then may I ask where you are, and I can come pick you up. Chen Hao didn't know the exact location of the company, nor did he know what its main business was. It was naturally best to have someone come pick him up. I'm at Mindu number 1. Upon hearing that it was Mindu number 1, Su Moran froze slightly. You live there? The new boss is really rich. With a sweet smile, her voice was still very high-pitched. I'm not too far from Mindu number 1, I can get there in about 15 minutes, so I'll wait for you at the entrance to Mindu number 1. See you soon. After hanging up the phone, Chen Hao was so excited that he almost flew up. He was just fired by his old boss last month and was worried about finding a job, but now he has his own company. It was just too good to be true. He just didn't know what the company did or what the female secretary, whose voice was so soft and made him itch, looked like. Chapter 3, Chapter 003, These Damn Exaggerated Curves. I laughed with glee, and laughed again, watching the world go by without growing old. I laughed with glee, and laughed again. 20 minutes later, Chen Hao walked into the elevator humming a little tune. As the elevator descended to the 12th floor, a stunningly beautiful woman wearing sunglasses got in. She was accompanied by a small assistant carrying a bag. After entering the elevator, the beautiful woman nodded at Chen Hao symbolically and then turned her back to him. Chen Hao couldn't help but stare at her for a moment. She looked so familiar, had he seen her somewhere before? Soon the elevator arrived at the 1st floor. Chen Hao got out of the elevator. The beautiful woman and her assistant continued on their way to the underground parking lot. Why did I feel that although she had given birth and divorced, she was still an unstoppable super goddess in the hearts of thousands of young men? Could it be her? I thought she was in the Magic City? When did she come to Mindu? Is she here to film a movie and temporarily staying here? Forget it, who cares? Chen Hao didn't bother to think too much. This is Mindu number 1, where every inch of land is worth a fortune, so it's not surprising that celebrities live here. When Chen Hao arrived at the door, the 2 security guards in the security room immediately came running out. Attention! Salute! This is the owner of the penthouse, or the most distinguished customer that Manager Luo has specifically instructed to be served well. Their actions made Chen Hao feel a little uncomfortable. But the feeling? One word. Cool. Chairman Chen? As soon as Chen Hao walked out the door, he saw a red BMW parked on the side of the road. The window was lowered a little and a woman stuck her head out. Then the door opened. A pair of shapely long legs wrapped in flesh-colored stockings stepped out of the car in white high heels. From the length of these long legs, you could tell that she was definitely tall. And the moment she got out of the car, she instantly became the absolute focus of attention within 100 meters, with countless pairs of eyes fixed on her. Some passers-by even slowed down just to catch a few more glances of her. There was nothing she could do. This woman was really attractive. She had long, silky hair, and her fair skin was as delicate and smooth as a piece of white jade. Together with her delicate and picture-perfect face, she was a super goddess-level character. It was absolutely impossible for someone like this to appear on the road and not attract attention. Man, this woman is hot. Her figure is pretty explosive. Her legs are long and proportional, I can play with them for 2 years. If she were my girlfriend, I would be willing to break my ribs and make her soup. Too much attention was being paid to Su Moyan, and countless pairs of eyes scanned her body back and forth. At this time, Su Moyan was in a side position, and a loud thud came from behind her. A young man was so engrossed in looking at Su Moyan that he didn't notice a telephone pole in front of him. He just ran into it. A big bump appeared on his forehead instantly, which caused a burst of laughter around him. What's even more tragic is that his wife was right next to him. This was a disaster. His wife, who weighed 180 pounds, went straight into a rage. Look at that, what's so interesting? You're like this when I'm right next to you, and if I wasn't here, you'd be up to no good. Wife, let me explain. His wife grabbed his ear. Explain my ass. You think I'm blind? Go back and see how I'll fix you. Come with me. My dear, be gentle, I won't do it again. Although he said this, his eyes were not honest at all. The corner of his eye still glanced at Suemo-ran. How could such a WoW goddess not look at her a few more times, even if he went back and kneeled in front of her? Suemo-ran was already used to these fiery looks. She completely ignored them. Her attention was entirely on Chen Hao. So young? And still so handsome? The moment she saw Chen Hao, even Su Moran, who was used to seeing handsome men and beautiful women, felt her eyes light up. Out of professional sensitivity, the thought immediately came to her. With his build and looks, if he were willing to go on stage, he would definitely become famous across the country in less than a year. No. What kind of person is the chairman of our family? How could he stoop so low as to go on stage? Su Moran quickened her pace and walked over. When she arrived in front of Chen Hao, she politely smiled and said, "Hello, Mr. Chen. I'm Su Moran. It's a pleasure to meet you." Su Moran felt her heart skip a beat when she looked at Chen Hao. Wasn't he feeling the same way? Su Moran's appearance was far superior to the young woman in the elevator that he had gotten to know better yesterday. Add to that her sweet smile at the moment, and she was absolutely to die for. She is tall with a curvy figure. And that smile that can kill you and that high-pitched voice that can make your bones go weak. Is this super perfect woman really my secretary? My goodness. Are you my little honey? Chen Hao asked in surprise. If she really is, then it'll be fun from now on. Suemo-ran didn't expect Chen Hao to speak so bluntly. Little honey? It's derogatory, isn't it? Her face turned red with embarrassment. She said coyly, "Director Chen, you're so bad, how can you call someone like that? Look, even your angry whine is so beautiful." Reminded of this, Chen Hao immediately realized that he had said the wrong thing. Fortunately, the voice was not loud and no one around heard it. "Chen Dong, many people in the company are waiting for you, let's go. This way please." Suemo ran a red BMW M3. As soon as Chen Hao got into the passenger seat, he smelled a faint fragrance. It was the same as the one Suemo-ran had on. Suemo-ran saw that Chen Hao had actually sat in the passenger seat, which was obviously a bit unexpected. Under normal circumstances, the boss would sit in the back. This is the only way to show off the boss's status. In the past, Sumoran also drove the previous boss, and every time he sat in the back row. It seems that this new boss doesn't consider himself a chauffeur and is quite approachable. Sumoran sat in the driver's seat and pulled the seatbelt on the side of her body and fastened it. As she fastened it, I don't know if the seatbelt was too tight or if she did it on purpose, the seatbelt happened to pass through her chest, completely revealing the perfect outline of her breasts. These damn exaggerated curves made Chen Hao feel passionate. Chapter 4, Chapter 004, Let Me Choose? This is interesting. Sumoran grabbed the steering wheel with both hands, and his upper body was upright. In this way, his proud demeanor became even more heroic. His slender legs were wrapped in flesh-colored stockings, which were round, slender, and charming. The scenery was really wonderful, and Chen Hao couldn't help but take a few more looks. Although Sumoran's gaze was fixed ahead, the corner of his eye noticed Chen Hao's gaze and smiled slightly while starting the car. "Director Chen, if you keep looking at people like that, they'll be embarrassed too." Was this a rejection? This was clearly flirting. The voice was so sweet that it made the bones ache, and just listening to it made people's hearts itch. In the past, he always heard people say that a man could be aroused just by the sound of a woman's voice. In the past, Chen Hao didn't believe it. But now he truly believes it. This woman in front of him, not to mention her voice, just looking at her a few more times will make a man's most primitive thoughts rise. In the past, Chen Hao really envied those second-generation rich. Many times he saw those second-generation rich driving their luxury cars, with long-legged beauties sitting on the passenger seat, driving while gripping the steering wheel with their left hand, and resting their right hand on their female companion's long legs, rubbing them. This kind of life is what Chen Hao has always yearned for, but he has only dared to think about it in his dreams. But now it's different. With the system, his status has changed completely. Since Suemo-ran wasn't angry, could he try to take it a step further? At this time, Chen Hao made a bold decision and tentatively placed his left hand on her shapely thigh wrapped in flesh-colored stockings. The touch was silky. Squeezing slightly, it was extremely elastic. This feel? It's simply awesome. Suemo-ran was not one of those skinny beauties, her figure was the type that looked good with and without clothes. Such women were most popular with men. Chen Hao had only tried it out as a test and was prepared to be scolded or even slapped. However, to Chen Hao's surprise, Su Mo Ran did not look like she was going to avoid it. Instead, she laughed lightly and said, "Director Chen, your hands are not being honest. Aren't you afraid that your wife will be unhappy if she finds out? I'm not married, so where would I get a wife?" "You're not married? Then you must have a girlfriend. If she finds out, she won't be happy either." "A girlfriend? She dumped me last month, and now I'm all alone, all by myself." Chen Hao did have a girlfriend before. Su Moran giggled, "You're really funny, Chen Dong. You're so outstanding, which woman would be willing to dump you?" "You dumped her, didn't you?" Su Moran really felt Chen Hao's outstanding qualities. Leaving aside the fact that he is the boss of the company, just for his looks, his figure and temperament, he has already surpassed 99.9999% of men. To be lucky enough to be the girlfriend of such a peerless man, wouldn't you hold on to him tightly, and would you kick him away? Is there something wrong with this woman? Chen Hao shook his head and sighed, unable to help but sigh with emotion in his heart. At the time, she despised me for being poor. Pa! Su Moran couldn't help but burst out laughing. "You're poor? Apart from the company, just for the luxury home you live in, number one Mindu, who would dare to despise you for being poor? Could it be that her family is even richer than you?" Chen Hao shook his head. "Her family is poor, she's from the countryside, and makes just over 7,000 yuan a month." "No way. How can she still dislike you for being poor?" "Oh, I know, she must be cheating on you with someone richer than you." Su Mo has seen this kind of thing happen many times. Most women have the common characteristic of hating the poor and loving the rich. Chen Hao smiled bitterly. "She's actually a nice person, and she's not the type to hate the poor and love the rich, she just can't see a future for us." Hearing this, Su Mo was even more confused. "Can't see a future? How is that even possible? Your future is to live a life of great wealth and prosperity. You are already at a level that most people can't reach in a lifetime, so what future do you need?" That woman is really sick. Chen Hao didn't bother to explain anymore. He changed the subject. "By the way, you said on the phone that you wanted to see me about something. What is it?" Su Moran smiled, her voice always so pleasant to the ear. "There are two things in total. The first is that representatives from Fujian Company have already arrived at our company. They are here to sign a cooperation agreement. Because the amount of money involved is relatively large, your signature is required." Upon hearing Fujian Company, Chen Hao was taken aback. "What company did you say?" "Fujian Company. The Fujian Company on Gongya Road, the one that does advertising planning?" Su Moran nodded. "Yes, that's the one." "Hey, Director Chen, do you know this company?" Chen Hao smiled bitterly. "Of course I know it. I interned at that company before, but I failed the internship and was fired." "What does our company do? What project are we cooperating with Fujian Company on?" Su Moran was once again surprised by Chen Hao's sudden question, and looked at Chen Hao in disbelief. "You bought the company yesterday, and you don't know what the company does?" "I'm going. Before buying a company, don't you have to research the company's background and evaluate the price before buying it? Did you buy it with your eyes closed?" It is also possible that the company was bought for him by his family so that he could practice first. Su Moran has also seen some of these things. Some chaebol families buy small businesses for their descendants to practice in order to train them. Su Moran feels that Chen Hao should belong to this type of super rich second generation. Su Moran patiently explained, "It's like this, Chen Dong, our company, Xingmenjuan, is mainly engaged in ladies' products, which are divided into two main parts. One part is the ladies' wear department. The other part is the cosmetics department. The ladies' wear department accounts for 30% of sales, and the cosmetics department accounts for 70%. Our cooperation with Fujian Advertising Company? The previous chairman had already negotiated with them and was going to give them the advertising for the next year. Now there's a change of chairman, so you need to make a decision." Chen Hao heard this and was delighted. What a coincidence! Who was their representative here to sign the contract? It was their company's business department head, Ai Ichian. Chen Hao smiled when he heard Ai Ichian's name. "Sister Ichian is here?" Su Moran's soft voice said, "There's one more thing. The company is hiring, and you need to approve the candidates." Chen Hao was a little depressed. Does the company really need me to approve such a trivial matter as hiring? What is the personnel department for? Mr. Chen, don't you want to go? Su Moran smiled mysteriously and said, since you're not interested, I'll tell Director Li in the personnel department that she'll be in charge of this selection of concubines. As she spoke, Su Moran was about to call Director Li and tell her that she didn't need to wait for Chen Hao. Chen Hao suddenly perked up. Wait a minute. What's this selection of concubines you're talking about? Su Moran smiled and said, recruiting models. We call it the selection of a concubine internally. Recruiting models? Selection of a concubine? Chen Hao's eyes lit up. There were beautiful women with amazing bodies and fair skin standing in front of him. How could he miss such a good opportunity to pick whichever one he liked? Of course he had to go take a look. Chapter 5, Chapter 005, It's really exciting to molest and run away. Xingmenjiwen Company's main business is women's products. Both the clothing department and beauty products need to be displayed by models. Therefore, every once in a while the company will recruit a new batch of models. In the past, the recruitment process was personally handled by the former chairman of the board. Those who were chosen by the chairman to join the company ended up in the chairman's bed under his strong influence. Over time, the recruitment of models has been privately referred to as the selection of concubines. Ding! Task issued, participate in the selection of concubines activity, recruit at least one model, and after completing the task, you will be rewarded with a luxury supercar. The sudden voice in his head made Chen Hao suddenly happy. Is the supercar here? I just don't know which model of luxury supercar it is. Ferrari? Porsche? Or Lamborghini? Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Soon, the car stopped at the entrance of a building. After it came to a stop, Su Moran first unbuckled his seatbelt, then smiled at Chen Hao and said, Chendong, we're here, I'm getting out. Okay, get out. But how can I get out if you don't take your hand away? Su Moran pointed to his right thigh. Chen Hao then realized that his hand was still on her thigh. He had been feeling her up the whole way? Take it away. Get off the car. Chen Hao smiled sheepishly and quickly got out of the car. After getting out of the car, Su Moran began to introduce, Chendong, this is our company headquarters, the production workshop is in the factory in the suburbs, if you are interested, I can take you to the factory for a tour sometime. I'll take you on a tour of the headquarters first. The headquarters are on the 6th and 7th floors of this building. Su Moran introduced as they walked. Afterwards, the two took the elevator to the 6th floor, and as soon as they got out, Chen Hao was shocked by the scene in front of him. Outside the elevator, 2 rows of beautiful women welcomed them. They were all dressed in OL outfits, short skirts with stockings, either flesh-colored or black. Wow! It was the first time he had seen so many beautiful women at once. If they hadn't been wearing name tags around their necks, Chen Hao would have thought that this was the scene from a beauty pageant. Not an old man? So young? And so handsome? And with a great body. Love it, love it. With such a handsome guy by my side, I won't be bored at work in the future. I just don't know if he'll come to the company often. Su Moran began to introduce, Chendong, these are all employees from the headquarters. This is Shi Huilan, the director of the legal department, and this is Wang Jinyan, the director of the design department. Chen Hao shook hands with each of them and greeted them politely. His approachable attitude immediately won their favor. After the brief welcome ceremony, Su Moran and Shi Huilan accompanied Chen Hao on a tour of the headquarters. Then they took Chen Hao to the chairman's office. In the middle of the meeting room, AI Ichian has been busy for a whole month trying to negotiate the advertising business with Xingmenjiwen. She has treated people to meals and given gifts, and finally got the business from Xingmenjiwen. She has been promised that the contract will be signed today. Once the contract is signed, she will not only secure her position as the head of the business department, but also receive a handsome commission. With this commission, she can afford to treat her grandmother's illness. Thinking that she will sign the contract soon, she is excited. At the same time, she is also anxious. Because she has learned that the company Stardream has already been sold yesterday and has a new boss. Her business was negotiated with the original boss. She doesn't know if the new boss will change his mind. What if he changes his mind and doesn't sign the contract? Anxious. Uneasy. After waiting for an hour, AI Ichian became more and more anxious as the new boss still hadn't shown up. But there was nothing she could do. This was the other party's company. They were the boss. She could only wait. At that moment, there was movement in the corridor outside the door. AI Ichian was curious and opened the door to take a look. She saw 20 or 30 well-dressed beauties walk out of the elevator and enter the room not far away. These beauties were all over 1.65 meters tall, judging by their appearances. Needless to say, their figures were in perfect proportion. Quite explosive. Quite wow. They were all beautiful. Is this the legendary scene of the Star Dream Company's selection of concubines? The boss of this company is really happy. AI Ichian had already heard about the Star Dream Company's selection of concubines, but after actually seeing the scene, she was still shocked. Isn't this scene what every man yearns for? Sister AI, long time no see. At this time, a voice came from behind, and AI Ichian turned around to look. Upon seeing Chenhao, AI Ichian's eyes widened, and she quickly walked over to take a closer look at him. You've grown taller and become more handsome. Oh my, you've changed so much in just a month. Chenhao nodded. I feel like I've become more handsome too. AI Ichian burst out laughing. You haven't changed a bit when it comes to being smug. In the past, at the company, Chenhao and AI Ichian had a superior subordinate relationship. AI Ichian took very good care of Chenhao. When Chenhao was fired, AI Ichian even fought to keep Chenhao at the company, but in the end, the higher-ups did not agree. Before Chenhao left, AI Ichian knew that Chenhao was short of money. She even gave Chenhao a 500 yuan red envelope. She had done everything she could for Chenhao. Sister Ichian, you are getting more and more beautiful. Chenhao said sincerely. You have a sweet mouth. Although I know you are just paying me a compliment, I like to hear it. Oh, why are you here? Do you work here? I heard that this company only hires women as employees, even the security guards and cleaners are women. How did you get in? Chenhao gave an indifferent smile. I'm good looking, so they hired me. Come on. I know some people in this company too, and I can even speak a few words to the chairman's secretary. If anyone bullies you in the future, just tell me and I'll ask Secretary Su to help you out. AI Ichian's most frequent contact for business these days has been Su Moran. The two have gone from initially not knowing each other to now being friends. Upon hearing this, Chenhao could not help but feel moved. You took good care of me at my previous company, and you still do? Chenhao opened his arms and gently embraced AI Ichian in his arms. Ichian, thank you. Chenhao meant it when he said thank you. If she hadn't given him 500 yuan when he left his previous company, he probably wouldn't have made it through the month. You little brat, why are you still being polite to me? AI Ichian just let Chenhao hold her like this, but listen carefully, the company pays well and the prospects are good, so you have to work hard and not waste your time, got it? Sister Ichian, why do I feel that your tone is becoming more and more like my mother's? No, more like my future wife. Chenhao suddenly said something funny, and AI Ichian blushed from the teasing. Come on, how could I be your future wife? Don't talk nonsense. I'm 6 years older than you. Chenhao laughed and said teasingly, a woman is worth 3 gold bricks when she's young, and 2 gold bricks when she's older. AI Ichian, you really smell good. Chenhao even sniffed heavily, and there was a faint scent of orchids. This completely made AI Ichian uncomfortable. You've got some nerve. You even dare to flirt with me. Just as AI Ichian pushed Chenhao away and was about to give him a good beating, Chenhao had already let her go and turned around to run. He slipped into the room in front of him. Flirting and then running, what a thrill. Ichian. Su Moran walked over, still holding the contract in his hand, and handed it to AI Ichian. According to the new chairman's request, the content of the contract has been slightly changed, and the legal department has already signed it. As long as you sign it, the contract will come into effect. As soon as she heard that the content of the contract had been changed, AI Ichian immediately became nervous. What was changed? Could it be that some tyrannical clauses had been added? She immediately opened the contract and read it carefully. The result. Most of the content had not changed, except that the annual advertising fee had increased from the originally negotiated 6 million to 20 million. AI Ichian's eyes widened, and her lips trembled. 20 million? Chapter 6 Chapter 006 Am I in a country of women? When AI Ichian saw that the contract said 20 million, she was dumbfounded on the spot. She was originally worried that the cooperation might be invalidated with the new chairman taking office. But she never expected that not only would the cooperation not be terminated, but the amount of the cooperation would instead increase from 6 million to 20 million? I'm going to get rich. AI Ichian was very excited. Her company, Fujiang Advertising, had not been doing well recently. It had already begun laying off staff. Chen Hao was one of those laid off. If business did not pick up, the company would probably have to close within 6 months. Under these circumstances, the company introduced a series of remedial measures. For example, it increased the sales commission for salespeople from the original 1% to 3%. The aim was to boost the salespeople's enthusiasm. AI Ichian estimated that 3% of 20 million was 600,000. AI Ichian is not married and does not have the pressure of raising children. However, her grandmother has fallen ill. The cost of treatment will be at least 300,000 yuan. Is there enough money for the treatment? And 300,000 yuan more? AI Ichian immediately took out a pen and signed the contract on the spot. Su Moran, what on earth is going on? How did the contract become 20 million yuan? Did you help to negotiate? AI Ichian asked curiously. Some time ago, when AI Ichian came to the company to do business, she was received by Su Moran. After talking, they discovered that they were actually alumni. With this connection, and the fact that the two really got along, they developed from a business relationship to a friendship. AI Ichian didn't think that the company would increase the amount of cooperation for no reason. It should be that Su Moran helped to negotiate it, right? I'm not that capable. This was the decision of the new chairman. I'm not sure exactly why he increased it. AI Ichian became even more curious. Then who is your new chairman, and can I meet him? The new chairman is busy right now, and I don't expect it to be over for at least 2 hours. AI Ichian glanced at the room where the selection of the bride was taking place. How about this, you go back first, and when the chairman is free, I'll set up a time for you to meet. Hearing that it would take at least 2 hours, AI Ichian didn't want to wait. She had other things to do. Okay then. I'll treat you to dinner tonight, you can't refuse. Okay, I'll be there in the evening. I'll eat you out of house and home. See you then. Wait, there's one more thing I need to ask you. Where is Chen Hao? He's an old colleague of mine. He's currently working at your company. Could you look after him for me? Su Moran's eyes widened instantly. Your colleague? Are you serious? My chairman worked at your small company? What's going on? Did he go there to experience life? Yes. That must be it. Su Moran was able to become the chairman's secretary because she was very good at reading people's expressions. Since Chen Hao didn't even reveal his identity, she naturally wouldn't expose him either. Don't worry, in this company, he will do better than anyone else. Su Moran smiled. She finally understood why Chen Hao suddenly increased the budget from 6 million to 20 million. It seems that he and Ichian have a deep relationship. Thank you. I'm leaving, see you tonight. Meanwhile, in the lounge next to the meeting room. Under the arrangement of a company clerk, more than 20 beauties gathered here, waiting for the next interview. Everyone, I just heard that the company's new chairman will personally interview. One beauty suddenly said. The new chairman? Male or female? Old or young? Male, I heard that he is very young and handsome. Where did you get this information, is it accurate? The receptionist is my sister. She told me that the new boss of the company, who is coming to the company for the first time today, is very handsome. A single stone stirs up 1,000 ripples. Young, handsome, and the boss? Isn't this the legendary tall, rich, and handsome guy? Here's my chance. Touch up my makeup, I must face the new boss in the best possible light. If he takes a fancy to me, hey, the chairman's wife will have a chance. I wonder if the chairman likes black silk or flesh-colored silk, or if he prefers bare feet. Each beauty has her own little secret. Originally, they just thought of it as an ordinary job, and it would be fine even if they didn't get the job. Where is there a shortage of jobs? But now it's different. The chairman is going to come in person to say this. Doesn't that mean there's a great opportunity to show off? Do you think the new chairman will be strict? I wonder what her taste is like. Will she be fierce? Some of the girls were nervous. No, she's not. The new chairman has always been very polite to beautiful women. At that moment, a voice came from behind them. The girls all turned to look. When they saw him, they thought, young and handsome. He has a special charm. But he's dressed rather shabbily. His jeans are washed until they're white. The t-shirt he's wearing is obviously cheap and has pilled from being worn for so long. Who are you? Do you know the new chairman? How do you know the new chairman's attitude towards beautiful women? The group of beauties asked curiously. They did not associate Chen Hao with the new chairman. This is a large enterprise with hundreds of millions of assets. Which big boss would dress so shabbily? But then, everyone was dumbfounded. When Su Mo ran in, politely told Chen Hao, "Chairman, please come in, the interview is in the conference room inside." Everyone was stunned. He is the chairman of the company? He is really young. He is so handsome. He is so cool. Oh, I wonder if he has a girlfriend. Chen Hao looked at the beauties with a smile, approachable. "You have to do well later, come on, don't let me down." Then, Chen Hao turned and entered the conference room with Su Moran. This is where the real interview takes place. The director of the Human Resources Department stood up as soon as she saw Chen Hao arrive. She pulled the stool next to her aside, and Chen Hao sat down. "How many beauties are here today?" "Oh no. Here, the interview." Li Yanfang, the director of Human Resources, covered her mouth and laughed. Giggle. Su Moran laughed out loud. It seems that the new chairman really treats this interview as a selection of concubines? Li Yanfang handed over a folder. With respect, she said. "Chairman, a total of 24 people passed our preliminary selection. Here is a list of their names and personal information for you to review." Chen Hao waved his hand. "No need to read it, just get to it." Chen Hao was already impatient. Chapter 7, Chapter 007, Schoolflower, please begin your performance. Li Yanfang, the director of the Human Resources Department, nodded, then we'll go through the list in order. Xiaowen, bring in the first one. The HR assistant in charge of serving immediately walked to the door and shouted. First, Wang Yixue, is Wang Yixue here? I'm here. From the crowd, a long-haired girl with a shawl walked over. She was wearing a black baggy skirt and flesh-colored stockings, and a pair of high heels over 10 centimeters long on her feet. As she walked, her waist swayed left and right, extremely sexy and enchanting. She had just walked through the door. When suddenly, oops! She let out a scream and fell to the ground. This scene scared the little HR assistant standing nearby. The floor isn't slippery. Why did she fall? If there's an accident here, I'll be responsible, and I'll get scolded. Go help her right away. With the help of the little HR assistant, Wang Yixue stood up and walked up to the front of the group. Looking at Chen Hao, she said apologetically, I'm really sorry, I was so nervous just now that I tripped without noticing. I saw that you fell pretty hard too. How about this, the company will arrange for someone to take you to the hospital first. Chen Hao looked at her and smiled. Wang Yixue was stunned. Am I being eliminated already? Of course she knew that being sent to the hospital was just a pretext, and that she was really being eliminated. Chairman, actually, I have a lot of talents. Wang Yixue still wanted to fight for it, but Chen Hao waved his hand. Next. Chairman, I invite you. The little HR girl immediately came over. Wang Yixue could only leave. After she left, Secretary Su curiously asked, Chen Dong, why was she eliminated? Chen Hao smiled and said, can't you see that she just faked a fall? Chen Hao has seen a lot of these fake falls. Have you heard of incidents where celebrities always fall on the red carpet for various reasons? Do you really think they fell accidentally? Don't be silly. This is a ploy. Wang Yixue deliberately fell to get Chen Hao's attention. How could her little scheme escape Chen Hao's eyes? Secretary Su puzzled, even if it was a fake fall, it only proves that she wanted to get your attention. Is that really a reason to eliminate her? Chen Hao took a sip of coffee. It's a bit bitter. I'm still not used to drinking these foreign things. He then asked the HR assistant to bring a bottle of mineral water, and after taking a few sips, he said, eliminating her is not because she faked a fall, but because it is normal to use tricks to achieve one's goals. Secretary Su was even more confused. Then why eliminate her? Chen Hao patiently explained. Have you noticed her face? Her nose is padded. Her double eyelids are pulled. The muscles in her face are stiff, so she doesn't even look natural when she smiles. Her whole face is the product of technology and hard work. Such a fake beauty is not suitable for our company. While he was talking, Chen Hao was sizing up Secretary Su. Noticing Chen Hao's gaze, Secretary Su immediately explained, "Chairman Chen, I haven't had any work done at all, I'm all natural from head to toe." Chen Hao laughed and said, "Of course I can tell, otherwise you would already have been fired." Li Yanfang, the director of the Human Resources Department, was a little nervous. "If you've had work done, you'll be fired? How annoying to have had work done." So she buttoned up the second button of her shirt. "It's through the clothes. He shouldn't be able to tell that I've had work done, right?" The rest of the interviews went well, and there were no more shenanigans like the fake fall, but Chen Hao wasn't really satisfied with the dozen or so people that followed. Most of them had been enhanced in one way or another. Even if they hadn't been enhanced, they were all quite stiff. They were models. Not only did models need to be good looking, their figure was also important. After seeing 12 of them, Chen Hao wasn't quite satisfied. That is, until she appeared. Chen Hao suddenly felt his eyes light up. She was like a bright pearl, shining radiantly. The dark red short skirt just right outlines her shapely and delicate curves, her slender waist is just the right size, and her plump breasts are just about to pop out. Her long hair, like seaweed, is casually scattered, gently swaying in the breeze, exuding a charming luster. The pair of big eyes on her delicate face seem to be able to speak, and there is a hint of unintentional charm in her glance. She walked with a light step and walked up to the front of the crowd. "Isn't this Xiang Si from the art department?" Chen Hao recognized her at once. She was the school beauty queen from the same university as him. Chen Hao was in his 4th year of finance, while she was a junior in the art department. Holy cow! The school beauty queen is here. This is going to be interesting. Chen Hao subconsciously glanced at Su Mo, who was sitting next to him with a devilish figure. Perceiving Chen Hao's gaze, Su Mo immediately asked, "Why are you looking at me?" "I'm comparing your figure to hers, who is better?" Chen Hao laughed. "Of course it's me." Su Mo ran deliberately sat up straight. "Tighten your stomach. Straighten your chest." In this way, her headlights became even more proudly erect. "Chen Dong, what do you think?" Su Mo ran leaned slightly closer to Chen Hao's side and whispered in a sweet voice, "Now you know who has a better figure, right? What a real demon." Chen Hao resisted the itchy feeling in his heart and turned to Xiang Si in front of him. "Introduce yourself." Chen Hao knew Xiang Si, but Xiang Si didn't know Chen Hao. First, he bowed to show his respect. "Hello, Chairman, and everyone, my name is Xiang Si, a junior in the art department of Mindu University." Li Yanfang, the director of the Human Resources Department, was a little upset when she heard that she was a junior. "What are the people below doing? We are recruiting full-time, how did a junior pass the preliminary round?" Xiang Si was shocked. "It's over. Is this the rhythm of elimination?" A little flustered, she immediately said, "Although I am a junior, I have classes during the day, but I have time in the evenings, and I have time on Saturdays and weekends." Li Yanfang was merciless. "Sorry, we are recruiting full-time this time, not part-time. You can go." Xiang Si was so anxious that she was about to cry. Just as she was about to leave, Chen Hao stopped her. "Wait a minute." Then, Chen Hao looked at Li Yanfang. "Director, it's great that you're following the rules, but let me see the job requirements first." Li Yanfang immediately handed over a job advertisement. Chen Hao took a look and saw that it did say full-time. Chen Hao took another pen and added a sentence after full-time. Secretary Su and Li Yanfang took a look. "Part-time is also fine." "Director Li, is this in line with the rules?" Chen Hao looked at Li Yanfang with a smile. Li Yanfang was suddenly speechless. "Okay. You're the boss, you call the shots." Chen Hao looked at Xiang Si. "Don't let what just happened get to you, let's continue." "Can you show me by spinning in place?" "Sure." Xiang Si slowly spun in place. After that, Chen Hao asked her to walk the catwalk a few times. It's true. Not only is Xiang Si good looking, she also has a great figure. Her body is also extremely flexible and coordinated, especially when she walks the catwalk. When she twists her small waist, it makes Chen Hao emotional. "Have you studied dance?" Chen Hao asked after Xiang Si finished walking the catwalk. Xiang Si nodded. "I have, mainly folk dance, of course, I also know some modern dance." Chen Hao of course knew that Xiang Si could dance. He had seen her dance solo at the school anniversary party. When she first appeared, she directly lit up the entire venue. Unfortunately, Chen Hao was sitting relatively far back at the time. He couldn't see clearly at all. Chen Hao smiled at her and said, "Since you've studied dance, can you do a dance for us?" Dancing was Xiang Xi's forte. She thought this was a good opportunity to show off, so she nodded and said, "Chairman, do you want me to dance the folk dance? National dance needs to be matched with the appropriate clothing to look good. You're not dressed appropriately to dance national dance." Chen Hao said seriously, "Just a simple one. Sue can dance, right?" Puff. Sue? Chairman, what are you trying to do? Chapter 8 Chapter 008 Rewarded, Chen Hao meets a beautiful anchor. Li Yanfang, the director of the Human Resources Department, looked at Chen Hao in surprise. "Boss. This is selecting a model, not a dancer? Sue, it looks a bit inappropriate, doesn't it?" However, although they felt that Chen Hao's request went a bit beyond the scope of the interview questions, they didn't dare say anything. Who asked the other party to be the boss? At first, Xiang Xi was relieved when she heard that Chen Hao did not want her to dance the folk dance. After all, folk dance does look better with the appropriate costume, right? But then, he told her to dance the Suowei dance. After weighing up the pros and cons, Xiang Xi finally nodded, her face tinged with a little shyness. Suowei? I'll do it. To be honest, Chen Hao had just been trying it out. The result? I'm going to do it? He agreed? Is he that obedient? It's really good to be rich. Chen Hao couldn't help but feel emotional. At this time yesterday, which other pretty girl would have paid any attention to him? Back in school, she wouldn't even look at him, let alone let him woo her. Is this the life of the rich? Awesome. Chen Hao made a gesture of invitation, then, "Please start your performance." Xiang Xi nodded obediently. She first squatted down and slowly took off her high heels, neatly placing them to the side. Then she took out her phone. She found a video in TikTok and played the music for Sue. And as the music started, Xiang Xi began to dance. The way she twisted her waist and swung her arms was exaggerated. Chen Hao was delighted to watch. "I'll go. I can't stand it anymore. Soon, the dance was over. Chen Hao was still looking and couldn't get enough. "Very good, that's it." Xiang Xi immediately showed a look of joy. "Chairman, do you need me to perform anything else?" "No. There's still a long time to come, there's no rush." Xiang Xi revealed a smile again. "So, have I passed?" "Wait for the news." Chen Hao laughed. This is the company's recruitment process, and they don't announce whether you've passed or not on the spot. However, as Xiang Xi was leaving, Chen Hao put a big tick after her name. There were 10 more interviewees to come. Although they were all quite good, they were still a little short of Chen Hao's standards. None of them were as outstanding as Xiang Xi. Chen Hao only symbolically hired 2 people. The recruitment was over. Chen Hao stretched comfortably. Ding, the host has been detected as having completed the task of selecting a wife. As a reward, you will receive a supercar, a Bugatti Veyron, and God-level driving skills. The car is parked in the open-air parking lot of Greenland Plaza. Please collect it yourself. Ding, task issued. Please complete the car collection task within 24 hours. After completing the task, you will receive 5 underground parking spaces in the number 1 underground garage in Mindu as a reward. Hearing the reward was a Bugatti Veyron. Chen Hao got so excited that he stood up. He stood up suddenly. A Bugatti? My goodness. It must be worth tens of millions? Chen Hao's sudden outburst startled his secretary Sue. "Mr. Chen, what's the matter? Why are you so happy? Are you interested in going for a drive with me?" Chen Hao extended an invitation. Sue thought about it for a while, but ultimately shook her head. "Oh, I'm so busy, I have a lot of work to do next, so I won't go for a drive with you." If there's work to be done, Secretary Sue will do it, and if there's no work, Chen Hao will do it. These words came out of Chen Hao's mouth without thinking. However, he stopped halfway through. Secretary Sue immediately rolled her eyes. "Director Chen, you're so naughty, I'm ignoring you." "Look, being angry is so enjoyable." What a flirt! After leaving the company, Chen Hao went downstairs to the roadside and hailed a taxi at random. After getting into the car, Chen Hao said, "Master, go to Greenland Plaza." The driver was a middle-aged man. He glanced at Chen Hao in the rearview mirror. As fellow men, they couldn't help but be surprised by Chen Hao's appearance. If my son looks this handsome, why would I worry about him not finding a girlfriend? He reminded Chen Hao, you sit tight. Just as he was about to drive off. Knock, knock, knock. There was a loud knocking on the car window. The driver lowered the window. What's the matter, young lady? A young girl with a selfie stick stood outside the window. She bent down and said to the driver, Master, I can't hail a cab. I'm in a hurry. Can you give me a lift? The driver looked troubled, but I already have a passenger here. I really am in a hurry. The driver looked back at Chen Hao. If Chen Hao didn't agree, he couldn't say yes either. Unless the consent of the first passenger is sought. Master, she is in a hurry, so take her first, I am in no hurry. The system gave Chen Hao 24 hours to receive the Bugatti, so Chen Hao had plenty of time and was in no hurry. The young girl heard this. She immediately rejoiced. She opened the car door and sat in. So handsome? When the young girl saw Chen Hao, she obviously felt her heart skip a beat. And Chen Hao looked at her, also feeling a sense of awe. It is said that internet celebrities are all created with beauty filters. But this internet celebrity in front of him is truly stunning in real life. His appearance and figure are on par with Su Moran. Of course. She and Su Moran belong to two different styles. Su Moran is sexy and enchanting. She, on the other hand, is girlish. In terms of age, she should be younger, in her early 20s. Girl, where are you going? The driver's voice came over. I'm going to Greenland Square. The girl said. The driver let out a "Oh, you're also going to Greenland Square, what a coincidence, this young man is also going to Greenland Square." The girl looked at Chen Hao in surprise, he's also going to Greenland Square? Did the news spread that quickly? The driver's uncle asked curiously, what news? Could it be that something big happened at Greenland Square? Chapter 9, Chapter 009 Driver, slow down, I'm scared. A supercar appeared in the parking lot of Greenland Plaza. Chen Mingqi's emotions were a little excited. She was holding a selfie stick and was still in a live broadcast. She had some fans on TikTok, but not many. There were less than 100 people online at the moment. This was because her fans were at work during the day. If she broadcasted at night, the number of people online could still break 100. In fact, just for Chen Mingqi's appearance, she shouldn't be doing so poorly. But, unfortunately, the internet is a place where it is hard to tell right from wrong. As long as you turn on features like the beauty filter, everyone becomes a beauty. Even if Chen Mingqi really is that good looking, she can still outshine most women without having to turn on the beauty filter. But who would believe it? Who would believe that you didn't turn on the beauty filter? In that case, Chen Mingqi no longer has the advantage of being good looking. So, even though she started streaming in her second year of university and has been streaming for 2 years, she is about to graduate, but she still hasn't become popular. Her number of followers is very small. Fortunately, after streaming every month, she can barely earn enough to cover her living expenses. But what's strange is that, although her income is not high, she wears designer clothes all over her body. Her clothes are from Prada, and her pleated skirt is from Louis Vuitton. Just these two items have a market value of at least 10,000 yuan. Even the handbag is from Dior. The exact price is unknown, but it must be at least tens of thousands of yuan. Could it be that she is also a second-generation rich person? Chen Mingqi noticed that Chen Hao's gaze had fallen on her handbag, and her expression suddenly became a little unnatural. It can't be seen that it's a fake, right? Chen Mingqi felt a little guilty. The designer clothes and handbag she was wearing, including the handbag, were all fakes and not worth much. If this was discovered, she would lose face. Just as Chen Mingqi was embarrassed and didn't know what to do, the voice of the driver in the front row came, a supercar appeared in Greenland Plaza? Ha, isn't it a supercar? I have been a driver for more than 20 years, what supercar haven't I seen? Little girl, there is no need to make such a fuss. The driver said disapprovingly. Mindu is still some way off from the super first-tier cities like Shanghai, Beijing, and Kyoto. But it is the capital city of a coastal province. There are still a lot of rich people. Naturally, there are also a lot of supercars. The driver, who drives on the road every day, sees all kinds of supercars every day. He is used to it and doesn't make a fuss. Chen Mingqi said, "Driver, the supercar I'm talking about is not just any supercar. Have you heard of the Bugatti? My fans told me that there is a Bugatti Veyron, the latest model from 2024, in the open-air car park at Greenland Plaza. These days, supercars are not rare. Not to mention these big cities, there are quite a few in some 4th and 5th tier small cities. However, there are different grades of supercars. There are those that cost 1 to 2 million. There are also those that cost 5 to 6 million. There are even those that cost over 10 million. Can you say that all these supercars are of the same class? As the anchor woman, Chen Mengshi, knows very well, a live broadcast of a 10 million supercar can bring her a lot of followers. What's more, this is a Bugatti Veyron 2024 model, with a price tag of over 50 million yuan. There is only one such car in the entire city of Mindu. So, after learning that there is such a supercar parked in Greenland Plaza, Chen Mengshi was afraid that if she didn't go over there quickly, the owner would drive away. A Bugatti Veyron? When the taxi driver heard that it was a Bugatti Veyron, his expression changed. I've been driving for more than 20 years. I've only heard of it, I've never seen it before. Did you just try to act cool? Although he was shocked, the taxi driver kept a calm face on the surface. But he secretly pressed the accelerator with his right foot. I also want to see the Bugatti Veyron. Is this little anchor going after my Bugatti? Chen Hao looked at Chen Mengshi. Should I tell her that this Bugatti is mine? At this moment, Chen Hao noticed that the taxi's speed was rapidly increasing. Straightening his body, he glanced at the speedometer on the steering wheel. Goodness! The speed had already reached 90 miles per hour. This speed is not a problem on the highway, but this is the city. Driving this fast in a place with heavy traffic? I thought you said you were used to seeing supercars? Master, it's just a Bugatti, there's no need to get so worked up, is there? Chen Hao's meaning was that you could drive a little slower. I'm a little scared. As soon as Chen Hao said this, Chen Mengshi, who was standing nearby, immediately looked over. What do you mean it's just a Bugatti? Why are you being so arrogant? Or is he ignorant and doesn't know the meaning of the word Bugatti in the world of supercars? Chen Mengshi is currently broadcasting live. Naturally, the fans in the broadcast room also heard what Chen Hao just said. A single stone has stirred up 1,000 ripples. The originally quiet broadcast room immediately became lively. Who was talking just now, and why did they speak so arrogantly? I don't think it was arrogance, but ignorance. I swear on my friend's single status for 100 years that he definitely doesn't know the influence of Bugatti. This is a complete fake, I give it 0 points. Mengshi, I want to take a look. Who is this person who can defy Bugatti while sitting in a taxi? The person upstairs is right, I'm also curious about who this fake is. Mengshi, turn the camera around. Curiosity +1. Chen Mengshi looks at Chen Hao. My fans in the live broadcast room said they want to meet you, do you agree? If Chen Hao said no, Chen Mengshi wouldn't be able to broadcast Chen Hao. Agreed. Chen Hao smiled. There was still some time before they reached their destination, and it was boring just sitting there. He might as well kill some time. Chen Mengshi then dared to point the camera at Chen Hao. Hello everyone. Chen Hao greeted the people in the broadcast room with ease. Goodness, is he that handsome? Oh my, is he the pretentious guy just now? How could he be so handsome? And he's so young. I love it, I love it. Young man, my name is Mei Mei, add me on WeChat. Young man, do you have a girlfriend? Young man, I'm from Minda too. I want to get to know you, where are you? Send me your location, I'll buy you dinner. Chen Mengshi was dumbfounded as she watched the screen. How did the tone suddenly change? Wasn't everyone previously enraged and ready to denounce this pretentious criminal? But then? Why are they calling him little brother so affectionately? What's more, they're even asking for his phone number. Can a handsome guy really get away with anything? Chen Mengshi also noticed a problem. With Chen Hao's appearance, the popularity of the live broadcast room has actually increased a little. Originally, there were less than 100 people online. But now there are over 100. It seems that these girls and women in the live broadcast room still like to watch Little Brother. Then I should spend more time with him, maybe it will increase the heat. So, the interview with Chen Hao began. Hello, Little Brother. My name is Chen Mengshi, a senior at Mindu University, a student, and an anchor. Chen Mengshi wore a sweet smile. Excuse me, did you also get the news about the Bugatti and go to Greenland Square to watch it? Chen Hao waved his hand. Watch? Not really. I went there because my car was parked there and I went to drive it back. Chapter 10 Chapter 010 Married to his father, let him call me mom every day. Chen Mengqi did not associate Chen Hao with the Bugatti, and neither did the fans in the broadcast room. You have to understand. How could a local tyrant who can afford tens of millions of supercars be so shabby as to take a taxi? Oh, young brother is also a car owner. Come on, everyone, guess what kind of car the young man owns? I'll go first. I guess it's a Mercedes. Why a Mercedes, not a BMW? A Cadillac is also possible. Volkswagen. Bid. Honda. Xpeng. Phoenix. As soon as the Phoenix brand was mentioned, Chen Mengqi couldn't help but burst out laughing. This fan is so funny. It's a bicycle, okay? Along the way, Chen Hao interacted with Chen Mengqi and the fans in the live broadcast room. Time passed quickly. The taxi stopped outside Greenland Plaza. Chen Mengqi, who was holding a selfie stick, couldn't wait to get out of the car. She jogged all the way into the parking lot. As soon as she entered the parking lot, she saw that there were quite a few people gathered in the central area. There were people in the inner 3 circles and outer 3 circles. The aisles were already small, so this blocked the way. Chen Mengqi squeezed into the crowd. What caught her eye was a supercar that was so cool it was like a sleeping beast lying there quietly. There were quite a few anchors like Chen Mengqi around. There were at least a dozen. Compared to the anchors, there were more pedestrians stopping to watch. Most of them were young girls. Ha, is this the legendary Bugatti? Mengqi really didn't lie to us, it really is a Bugatti Veyron? I've heard of Bugatti for a long time, but this is the first time I've seen a video of it. Mengqi didn't lie to me, 10 stars for you. Thank you, Mengqi, for letting me see the style of the Bugatti. Please accept this small gift. A rocket shot up above the screen. Chen Mengyao was stunned. Rocket? That's $1,000. Mengqi, we want to see more of the Bugatti. Can you get a little closer? Start filming from the front of the car and take a full turn. Mengqi naturally agreed to this request from her fans. However, she didn't dare get too close to the Bugatti. A luxury car worth tens of millions of dollars, if she bumps or touches it, she can't afford to pay for the damage. So, she can only stay half a meter away from the car. As requested by the fans, I will start filming from the front of the car. Can you see it? This is the car logo. Hey, wait a minute, we are taking pictures here. Chen Mengqi was in the middle of filming. She heard an unharmonious sound coming from the car door. It was a young couple who stopped Chen Mengqi. Originally, this young couple was taking photos, and the woman was leaning against the car door, even posing. For some reason, someone came up to them. It blocked the camera. The young couple became unhappy all of a sudden. Buddy, we'll be done soon, just wait a bit. I'm done filming, you're filming, is that okay? The man in the young couple was quite polite. Apparently, they thought Chen Hao was there to take photos like them. You guys take your pictures, don't mind me, I'll just go to the car and put something away. Chen Hao looked at them with a smile. Then he walked straight over. At the same time, he took out the car keys from his pocket and pressed them lightly. Beep. The car was successfully unlocked. At the same time, the headlights around them lit up. The two young lovers were dumbfounded, and so were the people around them. The owner is here? Is this young man the owner? My goodness, the car is handsome, and so is the owner. Chen Mengqi, who was filming, was even more stunned and dumbfounded. He is the owner of the Bugatti? Oh, he told me earlier that he was here to pick up the car, why didn't I make the connection? Her live broadcast room was also boiling. Damn, this handsome young man is actually the owner of the Bugatti? I previously even looked down on him for looking down on the Bugatti? And I thought he was just being a show-off? So it turns out that the real clown is me? Mengqi is so lucky to have met such a super rich guy. Mengqi, what are you standing there for? Go on, get him. This handsome young man, you'd be crazy not to act fast. Chen Hao had already put his backpack in the passenger seat, but he didn't get in the car himself. Instead, he looked at the young couple. I've put my things away, so I won't disturb you anymore. You can continue taking pictures. The young couple waved their hands repeatedly. Sorry, we didn't know the car was yours. We've finished taking pictures. Chen Hao smiled. Are you sure? The young couple nodded. Okay, see you later. Chen Hao then got into the car, sat in the driver's seat, started the car and slowly drove off. The young couple smiled at each other. Just now, after learning that Chen Hao was the car owner, they were shocked. Did I offend a super rich person? Fortunately, it was a close call. Not only did the other person not hold it against him, but he greeted him with a smile. Rich people are really kind. The young couple couldn't help but feel. On the other side, faced with the encouragement of her fans in the live broadcast room, Chen Mingqi hesitated. Should I go over and strike up a conversation? Should I go for him? Having such a handsome, rich boyfriend must be nice, right? But if I go over and talk to him, will he think I'm vain, that I'm attracted to rich people and only want to be with them? Chen Mingqi was conflicted. But then she thought, I'm just going to go over and talk to him. I'm not really trying to pick him up, I just want to get a close-up of the Bugatti to show my fans. When she thought about it like that, Chen Mingqi no longer hesitated. And then, boom! The sound of the engine, low and growling like a wild animal, came over. Then, under Chen Mingqi's gaze, the Bugatti Veyron sped away. Gone? He just left like that? Without even saying goodbye? Chen Mingqi was very disappointed and hurt. I didn't even have time to woo you, and you just left? This scene fell into the eyes of the fans in the live broadcast room. They all laughed, hooting. Ah, this is hilarious, hilarious, the local tyrant just left like that, he didn't give you the slightest chance. Mingqi, the local tyrant didn't fancy you. I told you not to hesitate, to strike while the iron is hot, and now, isn't it great, the local tyrant has run off, and you're regretting it, right? Oi, Mingqi, you won't be able to sleep tonight. After this village, there won't be this shop, Mingqi, you must be feeling so sorry for yourself, right? Poor. Mingqi, as an experienced person, I have also suffered losses in this regard. Once, a handsome and rich young man was in front of me, but I didn't cherish him properly, and I regretted it for a whole year. A year later, I met him again and wanted to continue our relationship, but unfortunately, time had changed and he was already married. And in my anger, I married his father, so that he can call me mom every day. My sister is saying all this to tell you that when an opportunity arises, you must seize it in time, otherwise you will regret it for the rest of your life. Chapter 11 Chapter 011 Big Star, Young Mimi. Ding, the host has completed the task of picking up the car and has been rewarded with 5 underground parking spaces in Mindu number 1. This task triggers a special reward, gaining +5 physical fitness. It was when Chen Hao drove the Bugatti out of the Greenland parking lot. The system. Voice that sounded in his head made Chen Hao excited. 5 underground parking spaces at Mingdu number 1? In a place like Mingdu number 1, where every inch of land is worth a fortune, a parking space is worth at least $1 million. The total price of 5 parking spaces is over $5 million. I'm so happy. I was worried about not having a place to park. I really get whatever I want. And this physical fitness +5. Chen Hao noticed that his strength seemed to have increased, but it wasn't very obvious. System, come out here, let me ask, what is the physical fitness of a normal person? The system replied instantly, the average human physique is 50. The lower the number, the weaker the physique, and vice versa. Chen Hao asked again, how much do I have now? The system replied, you can open the system interface and see for yourself. Just mentally recite the system interface and it will open. Chen Hao tried to mentally recite it. Sure enough, an interface appeared in his mind. Host, Chen Hao. Gender, male. Age, 22. Physique, 65. Skills, God-level driving skills. Chen Hao is delighted, 65. Isn't that above average? Chen Hao also has a question, he didn't expect there to be a special reward. But why wasn't there one after completing the task last time? Asking the system. The system informs Chen Hao that this special reward is random. Sometimes there is one. Sometimes there isn't. Chen Hao is speechless. Can I understand this to mean that you will give it to me if I'm happy, but not if I'm not? System, you can understand it that way. Chen Hao, you win. Ding, the task is released. The host is required to park the Bugatti Veyron in the underground garage of Mindu number 1 within 24 hours. After the task is completed, the reward of 1 million yuan will be given. Chen Hao is happy. You can get a reward just for parking a car? And this reward of 1 million yuan, it's really timely. Chen Hao is now penniless. Although he drives a luxury car worth tens of millions and lives in a mansion worth hundreds of millions, his bank card has less than 4 digits of cash on it, and he can't even afford to fill up with gas. Mindu no. 1. Underground parking garage. Sorry, you can't park here anymore, please park elsewhere. And Alfred drove up. As usual, it parked in a parking space. This parking space originally had no owner, so anyone could park there. But it has now been sold, so it is naturally impossible to let other people park there. The security guard came over and stopped the Alfred from parking in the space. Where are the parking spaces? Are there any on level -2 or -3? Asked the driver. The security guard shook his head. There are no more vacant parking spaces. What is Mindu number 1? It is home to wealthy people. Who among these people does not have several cars at home? This has led to particularly tight parking spaces at Mindu number 1. They were almost all sold out a long time ago. What are we going to do without a parking space? Where do you expect us to park? The driver was a little upset. You are tenants here, and there are no parking spaces reserved for you. The other day, we let you park here because the spaces were temporarily vacant, but now they have been sold, so you can't park here anymore. The security guard said, so please leave now and don't get in the way of my work. The driver was getting impatient and was about to say something when he was stopped. The back door of the car was pushed open, and a woman with sunglasses and a body that was bursting with health got out. Hello, security guard. Aren't there 5 empty parking spaces here? Just let me park my car. I won't be here long, just 2 hours, then I'll come back and take a nap. I have to rush to the set later, so I won't take up too much time. If the owner blames me, just say it was me who parked the car. I'm Yang Mimi. As she spoke, the woman took off her sunglasses, revealing a peerless beauty that could enchant the world. Don't look at this woman, she was already in her 30s. But the years had not left much of a mark on her face. On the contrary, after years of accumulation, she exuded an irresistible charm of maturity. As the top star in the industry, who doesn't know Yang Mimi? The security guard naturally knew her as well. His attitude softened a little. Oh, so you're a big star. I'm sorry, but this is a private parking space, I can't help you, please leave. Yang Mimi? I'll show you. I've already identified myself, and you're not even going to give me face? I, Yang Mimi, also have face to lose. At that moment, a low growl like that of a wild animal came from far away. Everyone looked over and saw a crazy, cool, awesome supercar speeding towards them. Oh my, what kind of car is this? Looks like the legendary Bugatti? The 2 security guards were stunned. There were countless luxury cars in the garage, and there were also quite a few supercars. But the Bugatti was the first one. Even Yang Mimi was surprised for a moment. Even she had rarely seen a car of this brand. And the Bugatti came to a stop in front of the parking space with a clunk. Hello, excuse me, I need to park. Chen Hao lowered the window and stuck his head out. The 2 security guards immediately stepped aside when they saw it was Chen Hao. Just a moment ago, they had received a phone call from their immediate supervisor, the property manager Luo Qingyan, telling them that these 5 parking spaces had been bought by Chen Hao, the owner of the penthouse. Chen Hao smiled and said, "Are these 5 parking spaces all mine?" The security guard smiled and said, "Yes, manager Luo told me that these are the 5 parking spaces." Chen Hao looked at the 5 parking spaces, which were still connected. Not bad, not bad. Very spacious. It doesn't matter if you park horizontally or vertically. Then he parked his car in the middle of the parking spaces. After getting out of the car, Chen Hao casually threw 2 packs of Zhonghua cigarettes to the security guard. Take them and share them with your brothers. The security guard couldn't stop smiling when he saw the Zhonghua cigarettes. He was even more attentive. He patted his chest and assured Chen Hao that he would definitely watch over his car and not let anyone scratch it. Hello, sir. Chen Hao was about to leave when Yang Mimi walked quickly up to him and stopped him. Are you the big star Yang Mimi? Chen Hao looked at her in surprise. When he left in the morning, Chen Hao met her in the elevator. At the time, it seemed like it was her, but it also seemed like it wasn't. He wasn't sure. Chen Hao looked at Yang Mimi. Whether it's her figure or face, you really can't tell that this is someone born in 1986, who is already approaching 40. It's you, Auntie Yang. Chen Hao said with surprise and a smile. Chen Hao, born in the 2000s. Although it's only the beginning of the 2000s, he is still a member of the 2000s. And Yang Mimi? Born in the 1980s. The two are more than 10 years apart. It's not an exaggeration to call a member of the 2000s an auntie born in the 1980s, right? But this anti-Yang remark immediately broke Yang Mimi's guard. Auntie? Does this person know how to chat? Shouldn't I be called sister? Right, Auntie Yang, what did you want to see me about? Chen Hao asked again. Yang Mimi felt like she had been stabbed again, and she felt the urge to burst into tears. Hold it together. Hold it together. Don't get angry. Getting angry will make you wrinkle. It's like this, I came to Mindu to film, and I'm temporarily staying at Mindu number 1 community. Originally, my car was parked in this space. Yang Mimi pointed to Chen Hao's parking spaces, but this parking space is now yours, and there are no other parking spaces in the parking lot. Hearing this, Chen Hao understood. Oh, I see, you want to park your car in my parking spaces? Yang Mimi nodded. Chen Hao grinned, no big deal, park it. Helping others is a traditional Chinese virtue. What's more, Chen Hao has 5 parking spaces, and they're not even full. Yang Mimi let out a sigh of relief when she got Chen Hao's affirmative answer. If Chen Hao hadn't agreed, her car would have to be parked on the street, which would be really inconvenient for her to get in and out of. P.S. For the record, this article is not purely entertainment, but it will involve some entertaining characters. Chapter 12 Chapter 012 Anna Yang, do your feet really stink? After the driver parked the car, Yang Mimi and Chen Hao entered the elevator together. They lived in the same building. Yang Mimi lived on the 12th floor and Chen Hao lived on the top floor. And when Yang Mimi saw that Chen Hao had pressed the button for the 30th floor, she was shocked again. Although she was not an owner here. The apartment in number 1 Mindu was rented to her temporarily by the film crew because they were filming here. But how could she not know the status of number 1 Mindu? It is comparable to number 1 Demon Capital. And the penthouse of this building is where the Building King is located. Being able to buy the Building King in number 1 Mindu is definitely a symbol of status. The car is a Bugatti that is rarely seen even in Demon Capital in Kyoto, and the house is the Building King worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Although he dresses simply and low-key, it cannot hide his aristocratic aura. Which family's young master is he? No matter which family's young master, it's never bad to make friends with him if you can. Do you know why Yang Mimi was able to become a top streamer? And how did she become Boss Yang? It has to do with her hard work. It also has to do with her fondness for making friends. Of course, the friends she refers to here are not ordinary people. She can't just waste her time on ordinary people for no reason. The people she befriends are all rich and powerful. And these people are commonly known as connections. And Chen Hao's current financial resources have far exceeded the standards for Yang Mimi to befriend. Such local tyrants are already worth befriending, and they may be useful someday. Afterwards, Yang Mimi took the initiative to ask for Chen Hao's WeChat and mobile phone number. After a short chat, the elevator arrived at the 12th floor. Chen Hao waved goodbye with a smile. Bye, Auntie Yang. Yang Mimi almost tripped as she stepped out of the elevator. Auntie Yang? Do I really look that old? Yang Mimi returned to her room, where the maid had already prepared lunch. DDDDDD. The sound of a WeChat message alert. Yang Mimi took her phone out of her handbag and, when she saw who had sent the message, she couldn't help but smile. We've only just parted ways, and already she's sending me messages? She can't wait? Yang Mimi felt a little smug. She clicked to open the message. Chen Hao had written, Auntie Yang, actually, I've been following you for a long time. You're my favorite actress. When I was at university, your photo was on the screen of my phone all the time. Yang Mimi felt even prouder when she read this. Is this a confession? Kid, even if you confess, I'm not going to say yes, don't think you're good looking. Second message. I've always had a question I want to ask you. I hope you can answer it? Yang Mimi smiled to herself, thinking, what question? Is it about what I think of you? Yang Mimi sent a message back, tell me, what is the question? I'll tell you everything. Chen Hao first sent a shy emoticon. The rest of the message read, this question has not only been troubling me for many years, but also my university roommates. I believe your countless fans also want to know the answer, and I hope you can solve the mystery. Yang Mimi thought to herself. Troubled for many years? Then it definitely wasn't a question about my impression of him. What could it be then? She was even more curious. Chen Hao continued to send a message. This question is known on the internet as a hard case and a millennium mystery. That is, do your feet really stink? Yang Mimi has a nickname, Yang Smelly Feet. This nickname can't be groundless. Is this woman with her glossy appearance really smelly feet? Chen Hao was really curious. Looking at the message on the screen of his phone, Yang Nini's eyes widen. Asking this kind of question? I'll banana you. Yang Nini, exasperated, sends a single word, get lost. Chen Hao watched as the message disappeared, a little disappointed. They had just been having a good chat. Why did she get angry? Chen Hao concluded one thing: this woman has a bad temper and is not suitable to be a wife. Before long, lunchtime arrived. Let's go downstairs for lunch first. Next to Mindu number 1 is a business district with a Yida Plaza. There are many delicious foods there. And there are many brand name stores. The 1 million yuan bonus from the system has just been credited to his account. Chen Hao is now carrying 1 million yuan in cash, and it's time to replace these rags. Because it's not far, Chen Hao walks there. Xiang Si gets off a Didi car while talking to her best friend on the phone. You're asking if I've succeeded in the interview? I don't know either. They told me to wait for news. I don't know if I'll be accepted. But I'll tell you, you missed out big time today. The new chairman of Stardream is so handsome and young. Hee, if you see him, you won't be able to walk. It's just a bit creepy. He even asked me to do the splits in front of him. Of course I did it. Otherwise I would definitely have been eliminated from the interview. Okay, I'm at Yida Plaza. I'll see you some other day and we can chat in detail. Hang up. After hanging up the phone, Xiang Si hadn't taken 2 steps when she saw a BMW X3 parked on the road in front of her. The driver's window was lowered. Phew! A Red Bull can was thrown out. Then a garbage bag was thrown out. Littering, does this person have any sense of public morality? Xiang Si walked quickly over, picked up the garbage bag and Red Bull can on the ground and threw them into the car. Damn it! The person in the car was directly annoyed, opened the door and was about to get off the car. But who knew? Just as he opened the door. With a bang. The door was kicked back by someone and the door was closed again. Chen Hao walked over and glared through the car window, warning, "What, do you still want to hit someone? Chairman, is that you?" Xiang Si looked at Chen Hao with surprise, wondering why he was here. "I live nearby and just happened to pass by." Chen Hao smiled. Xiang Si was still dressed as she was during the previous interview, in a short skirt and high heels. She was wearing flesh-colored stockings. She looked super sexy. As soon as Chen Hao saw her, he couldn't help but picture her dancing to Suwei Suwei. Boy, that scene. Inside the car window was a shirtless middle-aged man. He was even more furious when he saw his beloved car being kicked. He directly pushed the door and got out of the car. "Damn you, you little brat, you kicked my car, do you want to die?" The words on the bare-chested young man's lips were swallowed as he spoke. Behind Chen Hao were 2 burly men. They were at least 1.9 meters tall. The young man cowered as they glared at him menacingly. "Do you always go out with bodyguards? Which young master goes out to pick up girls? You can't mess with me. You can't mess with me." The young man weighed up the situation. If he fought, he would be beaten to a pulp. He dared not be reckless, so he got into the car immediately and quickly fled. "Brother Li, Brother Wang. Thanks." The 2 burly men behind Chen Hao were the security guards of Mindu number 1. They were the 2 from the underground car park earlier. They had finished work at noon and came to Yida Plaza to eat. Chen Hao was also here for dinner, so since they were going the same way, they walked together. "Boss Chen, you're too kind. We didn't help much, did we? If you need anything in the future, just let us know. We won't bother you anymore, we're leaving." After saying that, the 2 security guards turned around and left. Before leaving, they deliberately glanced at Xiang Si a few times, thinking to themselves, "It's great to be rich, the girls are all beautiful, I really envy him." Chapter 13 Chapter 013 The only criterion for judging whether a man is horny or not. "Brother Wang, Brother Li, wait for me for a second." Chen Hao stopped the 2 security guards who were about to leave, asking them to wait a moment, and then went to the tobacco and alcohol shop not far away. These two had helped so much, so he had to show his appreciation. While Chen Hao was buying cigarettes, Xiang Si immediately sent a message to her best friend. Photos. Photos. These were the photos she had just taken of Chen Hao surreptitiously. As soon as she sent the photos, her best friend replied in seconds, "Oh my god, is he really that handsome? Si, are you sure you didn't turn up the beauty filter when you took the photos?" Xiang Si, I didn't turn up the beauty filter, and he's also wearing no makeup. I'm not lying to you, this is the new chairman of Star Dream Company I mentioned earlier. I ran into him on the street again. Xiang Si felt that typing was too slow. She simply sent a voice message. I briefly recounted what had just happened, and finally asked, Xiao Wei, what do you think I should do now? Xiao Wei also sent a voice message, are you stupid? Do you still need to ask such a question? These days, handsome guys come with no money. Handsome guys with money come with ugly faces. A guy like your boss, who is handsome, has money, and is also full of righteous sense, is practically rarer than a giant panda, okay? You finally met him, and you're not going to take advantage of the situation? Are you stupid? Xiang Si, but he's horny, he made me sue, meaning flushed, just from the first meeting. Xiao Wei, then tell me, which man in the world is not horny? Do you know how I determine what kind of man is horny and what kind of man is not? Xiang Si, how would I know? Xiao Wei, my only criterion for determining whether a man is horny or not is to see if he is breathing. As long as he is breathing, he is damn horny. Xiang Si burst out laughing. Isn't this little Huey's imagination a bit extreme? Is it really true that there are no gentlemen in the world? What are you laughing at, so happy? At this time, Chen Hao walked over. Hearing the sound, Xiang Si, who was guilty of being a thief, immediately put the phone behind her and kept saying, oh, it's nothing, my friend just sent me a joke. Chen Hao didn't say anything else. He gave Wang Gu and Li Gu the 2 packs of Zhonghua cigarettes he bought, as well as 2 bottles of Maotai, 1 for each. Mr. Chen, you're too kind. Wang and Li were stunned. 2 thin Zhonghua cigarettes cost almost 1,500 yuan. The 2 bottles of Maotai were even more expensive. That's at least 7,000 yuan. In other words, Chen Hao had spent more than 10,000 yuan in one fell swoop. Don't mention it, we're all friends. The 2 men were flattered by the friendship, and they wondered if they had met a VIP. They then patted their chests and promised Chen Hao that they would do anything he asked in the future. And he no longer called Chen Zong, but directly changed his address to Hao Gu. Xiang Si came to Yida Plaza originally to have dinner with a few friends. But after chatting with Xiao Hui, she changed her mind. Friends can get together at any time, but the opportunity to be alone with Chen Hao in the future is probably difficult to come by. She had to seize the opportunity. Therefore, she immediately asked Chen Hao to dinner on the grounds that he had just helped her. Chen Hao readily agreed. He was going out to eat anyway, and having a beautiful woman to keep him company would definitely make the meal more enjoyable. For lunch, they had authentic Fujianese snacks. Chen Hao ordered flat pork noodles in the style of Eastern Fujian, oyster omelette in the style of Southern Fujian, and baozi from Shaowu in Northern Fujian. Xiang Si ordered taro dumplings in the style of Western Fujian, fried potato balls, and fish balls in the style of Mindu. Wow, I'm so full. Shindong, normally you don't eat this kind of snack, do you? I can't afford to take you out for a big meal, so I can only treat you to some of these snacks. You must not be used to eating them. After leaving the store, Xiang Si went and bought 2 cups of milk tea, and handed one to Chen Hao. Who says I'm not used to eating them? Chen Hao smiled faintly and said, for me in the past, a meal like this would definitely be considered a luxury. Chen Hao wasn't lying. He had just started his internship and was paid very little. The guaranteed minimum wage was 2,000 yuan. His monthly commission was only 2,000 to 3,000 yuan. In total, he only earned 4,000 to 5,000 yuan. After deducting the 1,500 yuan rent, how much was left? A month ago, Chen Hao still had a girlfriend. Most of his money had to be spent on his girlfriend. Although the meal today consisted of only snacks, it still cost 70 to 80 yuan. For Chen Hao in the past, this was definitely a luxurious meal. Xiang Si didn't believe this. Luxury? Are you kidding? You're a big boss, and you call a meal of a few tens of dollars a luxury? Is he trying to give me an excuse to back down? Xiang Si was about to say something when Her expression suddenly became unnatural. From the direction of the stairs, a young man in a suit, holding flowers in one hand, and wearing glasses that made him look very scholarly, walked over. After recognizing him, Xiang Si immediately hid behind Chen Hao, praying in her heart, "Don't see me, don't see me." Unfortunately, it was already too late for Xiang Si to hide. The man walked straight over. "See, I've finally found you. These flowers are for you." The young man handed over the roses in his hand. Xiang Si was speechless. What she was afraid of really came true. Why was this guy so persistent? And how did he know I was here? Xiang Si's gaze subconsciously glanced at Chen Hao a few times. He wouldn't misunderstand that he and Jiang Wangjun had something, would he? And Chen Hao's expression didn't change at all, just a mindset of watching the fun. Xiang Si didn't pick up his roses. "Jiang Wangjun, why are you sending me flowers for no reason? See, I like you, marry me." At this moment, Jiang Wangjun suddenly knelt down on one knee. "See, I love you. See, this is the key to my new BMW. And here's the house deed. I've already bought the house, with a down payment of 2 million. Jiang Wangjun, who was kneeling on the ground, pulled the house deed out of his pocket as if by magic, along with a set of BMW keys that most people would envy. Chapter 14 Chapter 014 Are you as handsome as him, and do you have as much money as him? Jiang Wangjun's kneeling like this made Xiang Si feel at a loss for words, and she was a little at a loss for what to do. Once again, he glanced at Chen Hao. He thought to himself, "I don't have anything with him, so don't get the wrong idea." Then, he immediately said to Jiang Wangjun, "Jiang Wangjun, what are you doing? Get up quickly. See, marry me. I'm formally proposing to you." Jiang Wangjun first placed the flowers and the house deed on the ground, and then took out an exquisite little gift box from the pocket of his trousers. The box opened. Inside was a shiny diamond ring. Kneeling on one knee, Jiang Wangjun held the diamond ring up in front of her. "See, this ring cost me a month's salary, a full 100,000 yuan, I hope you like it." His voice had just fallen. Next to him, two little girls appeared without knowing when. They held fireworks. With two bangs, the fireworks soared into the sky. Then they floated back down. The romantic atmosphere was full. "Marry him. Marry him." After the two little ladies had finished setting off the fireworks, they started to make trouble. Zhang Qian and Xiao Wei, you two little sisters who started trouble, not only know Xiang Si, but also have a good relationship. She came here at the invitation of the two of them for lunch. Now she understands. Eating is just a pretext. The main purpose is to create an opportunity for Jiang Wangjun to propose. Xiang Si had previously wondered why Jiang Wangjun knew that she had come to Yida Plaza. So they had betrayed themselves? Someone was proposing? Proposing in public, isn't that something you only see on TV? It's kind of interesting, let's go take a look. Soon, a crowd gathered around. The guy proposing looks pretty good, with his glasses and gentle demeanor. He has a house and a car, and it's not just any car, not just anyone can drive a BMW. Didn't you hear him say that he makes 100,000 yuan a month? My, 100,000 yuan a month? To earn such a high salary, let alone in Minto, it is rare even in the capital or Kyoto. He is a true social elite. This young girl is so lucky to have met such a good young man. If my daughter had such an outstanding young man proposing to her, I would be able to smile in my sleep. This young girl is not bad either, she is good looking, has a good figure, and a round, perky bottom, so she will definitely be able to bear children. From my experience of having given birth to 3 children, I can tell at a glance that this girl is going to give birth to a boy, just from her round and perky bottom. The bespectacled man who proposed has pretty good taste. But why do I feel that the young lady isn't at all impressed by the bespectacled man who proposed, and instead seems to prefer the young man standing next to him? A comment from one of the older women immediately caught the attention of the onlookers. Everyone then focused their attention on Chen Hao. My, this young man is so handsome. You're shallow. What's the use of being handsome these days? Can it buy you food? Can it pay for the rice, oil, and salt? These days, it's all about money. Look at what this young man is wearing, and look at what the young man on his knees proposing is wearing. The difference is obvious, isn't it? This young lady won't really choose the handsome young man over the bespectacled young man proposing, will she? What do you think? What will this young lady choose? If it were me, I would definitely choose the man who proposed. I don't want to suffer with that guy. I think the same way as you. And at this time, what everyone did not expect was that Xiang Si did something that made everyone's eyes pop. She suddenly hugged Chen Hao's arm and her whole body leaned over. Chen Hao was startled by her action and instinctively wanted to withdraw his arm. But then he thought, this woman must be using herself as a shield. So I'll let her hold on to me. Xiang Si looked solemnly at Jiang Wanjun. Jiang Wanjun, get up. I won't agree to your proposal, and I'm telling you, this is my boyfriend, so don't bother me in the future. In one sentence, Jiang Wanjun almost vomited blood. Boyfriend? Why hadn't I heard about this before? Seeing Xiang Si hug Chen Hao's arm again, her body pressed over. The plump headlights were deformed a bit from the intense squeezing. I really want to enjoy it. What is this feeling of being squeezed by the headlights of a young lady in stockings? He was even more angry. See, have you made a mistake? What is so good about him? He is just a poor kid, what happiness can he bring you? Didn't you say you wanted to live the life of a rich wife? I am not even 30 years old, and my annual salary after tax is already over $1 million. If you marry me, I can give you the happiness you want, but if you follow him, you will only be able to eat simple food for the rest of your life. Xiang Si immediately rolled her eyes. He is a poor boy? You don't know that he is the owner of Star Dream Company? You want me to choose you? Do you think I, Xiang Si, am stupid? Are you as handsome as him? Are you as tall as him? Are you as young as him? Are you as carefree as him? Are you as rich as him? In what way are you better than him? I would be the one who was really stupid if I chose you. Of course, she didn't say this to Xiang Si. Ignore him, Chen Hao, don't mind him, let's go. Look. She's calling him brother. Although he knew it was an act, Chen Hao still enjoyed her calling him that. Jiang Wangjun was even more unhappy. He stopped kneeling. He stood up and reached out to block Chen Hao and Xiang Si. Jiang Wangjun glared at Chen Hao, his eyes almost spitting fire. If any man had been pursued by the woman of his dreams for 3 years and then found her in the arms of another, it would be hard to accept. He just couldn't understand it. Why had Xiang Si chosen him? Wasn't he just a bit better looking and taller than he was? What was so great about him? Did he have such a high level of achievement? I graduated just 2 years ago and already earn $1 million yuan a year. How can you compare? Hello, Chen Dong. Unexpectedly, a voice came from the side at this moment, and when everyone turned their heads, they saw a young woman walking over who was so beautiful that it made people's hearts tremble. She was wearing black stockings. A beige short skirt that hugged her hips. The hem of the white shirt was tucked into the short skirt, and the shirt had shrunk a little, highlighting her small waist. It also made her already magnificent headlights appear even fuller. If she were my girlfriend, I would be willing to break my ribs and make her soup. Someone couldn't help but let out a groan in their heart. Even Xiang Si's attention was drawn over. Seeing her for the first time gave her a feeling of brightness. What a beautiful sister. At this time, Xiang Si noticed that Chen Hao's gaze was actually on the young woman's legs, and the expression seemed to be quite interested. Then she looked down at her own thighs. She was wearing flesh-colored stockings. And the young woman was wearing black stockings. Could it be that Chen Hao liked black stockings even more? Chapter 15 Chapter 015 My goddess is about to become impure. Xiang Si had a feeling of lightness when she saw Luo Qingyan. And when Luo Qingyan saw Xiang Si, was she not feeling the same? Such a tall figure, a beauty who was simply stunning with just a little makeup, even she is extremely rare. She had already walked up to Chen Hao, with a sweet smile. Mr. Chen, I was just about to go find you. Chen Hao smiled at her. Is there something you need? Luo Qingyan nodded. I went to your house yesterday and forgot to tell you something, which is about the property fee. Of course I know that you definitely don't lack this little bit of property fee. But it's better to say it in advance. The property fee for your house is 20 yuan per square meter, and your house totals 1,600 square meters, so the monthly property fee is 32,000 yuan. We will collect it on the first day of every month. Of course, if you don't want to be bothered by having us collect it in person, you can transfer the money into our designated account. If you trust me, you can just transfer it to me directly. As the property manager of Mindu No. 1, Luo Qingyan felt it necessary to explain some things about the property fees to Chen Hao. And once she said it, the people around her immediately erupted in an uproar. What kind of house charges 20 yuan per square meter just for property fees? 32,000 yuan a month? Isn't that ridiculous? Under normal circumstances, the property management fees for an average residential community are usually less than 2 yuan per square meter. For high-end communities, it's only 3 or 5 yuan per square meter. In the entire Mindu area, there are only a handful of residential communities with property management fees of more than 10 yuan per square meter. Not to mention 20 yuan per square meter. The residential community next door, Mindu number 1, only charges 15 yuan per square meter, right? Ha ha ha. Ridiculous, really ridiculous. Jiang Wangjun suddenly burst out laughing. Chen Hao, right? The actor you found doesn't have any acting skills, does he? Go and find out for yourself. Is there a community in Mindu where the property management fee is 20 yuan per square meter? Even the property management fee for the neighboring Mindu number 1 is only 15 yuan per square meter. If you're going to act in the future, please make sure you understand the script first. Luo Qingyan's delicate eyebrows wrinkled. Ignorant, how terrible. He said indifferently, you're half right. The property management fee for most of the houses in Mindu number 1 is 15 yuan per square meter. Except for the king of the building. At the mention of the king of the building, everyone involuntarily let out a gasp. This kid bought the king of the building? In the eyes of these ordinary people, the properties in Mindu number 1 are unattainable. Not to mention the king of the building. No way, this young man dressed so plainly is actually the owner of a house in Mindu number 1, and what's even more shocking is that he bought the king of the building? Have we all been wrong before? We all thought he was poor, but we never expected him to be so rich that we can only look up to him? Could it be that the second generation of rich people nowadays like to travel in such a low-key manner? The owner of Mindu number 1 is still the one who bought the building king's existence, and this identity is absolutely extraordinary. I now know why this little girl would choose this handsome young man instead of the man who proposed to her. If it were me, I would also choose the young man without hesitation. I previously thought that the man who proposed had an advantage, but now it seems that there is no comparison. As long as you're not an idiot, you won't choose the marriage proposal guy, right? Facing the rising voices of discussion around him, Chen Hao felt a little helpless. I just came out for lunch. Is it so hard to want to keep a low profile? Then, Chen Hao took out his phone and transferred 320,000 yuan to Luo Qingyan. I've already transferred the property fees for the past 10 months, so please check. Luo Qingyan had already received the bank text message about the deposit. Mr. Chen, then I won't bother you and your girlfriend while you're shopping, goodbye. After Luo Qingyan left, Xiang Si couldn't wait to ask Chen Hao, Director Chen, you live in Minduipin, don't you? And you bought the penthouse there? Chen Hao nodded, yes, why? Xiang Si's eyes lit up. I heard that the houses there are very expensive. I'm curious how much they cost per square meter. Chen Hao told her the truth. That was the property manager of Minduipin. She told me yesterday that my house costs 251,000 yuan per square meter. Xiang Si widened her eyes. What? 250,000 yuan per square meter? 250,000 yuan per square meter, 1,600 square meters in total. How much is that? Xiang Si immediately started counting on her fingers. It wasn't until she did the math that she realized just how much it was. She was shocked when she did the math. 400 million yuan? 400 million yuan for a flat? That's just crazy. That's even higher than the total market value of Star Dream Company. Xiang Si was shocked. It seems that she had underestimated his financial resources before. Rich, wealthy, and handsome, isn't this exactly the type I like, Xiang Si? Thinking about this, she hugged Chen Hao's arm even tighter. Feeling the amazing elasticity coming from the arm, Chen Hao glanced back at Xiang Si, who was hugging Chen Hao's arm like a little bird. Interesting. Chen Hao smiled. She blushed a little when Chen Hao looked over. But then, despite the blush, she had no intention of letting go of Chen Hao's hand. 400 million? I could never earn that much in a lifetime. I just want to know what a house worth 400 million looks like. Is it really as magnificent as they say? Chen Hao laughed. It's not as if it's gold and jade, because my house isn't plated with gold, but it does have a sky pool. Are you interested in going for a swim with me? It's not far, just across the street from here, just a short walk. Jiang Wangjun, who was standing nearby, widened his eyes instantly when he heard this. Invite my goddess home? And go swimming? Wouldn't that mean wearing a swimsuit with quite a bit less fabric? That's ridiculous. Do you think she'll say yes? My goddess is very self-respecting, okay? Jiang Wangjun no longer had the idea of competing with Chen Hao. He really didn't have the confidence or the strength to dare compete with the owner of Mindu #1 for a woman. But, from what he knew of Xiang Si, it was impossible for her to just casually go home with someone. They were both adults who didn't know what the real purpose of an invitation home was. Xiang Si wasn't that stupid. But Xiang Si accepted without even thinking about it. Wow, a sky pool? I've never swum in a sky pool before, hee. I really want to experience what it's like to swim in a sky pool. Jiang Wangjuan's eyes widened instantly. What the hell? Xiang Si agreed to go home with him? Didn't she know that going home with him was a very dangerous thing? Oh no! My goddess is about to become impure. Chapter 16 Chapter 016 Double the Happiness. Ding, mission released. Please spend more than 500,000 yuan on Xiang Si within 24 hours. After completing the mission, you will receive 1 billion Huaxia coins. What? 1 billion? My goodness! Chen Hao was really shocked when he heard this number. 1 billion? And it's in cash. Just imagine, what is it like to work for a company full of beautiful women, drive a 50 million supercar, live in a 400 million mansion, and have 1 billion in the bank? This life is already completely laid back, isn't it? Xiang Si let go of Chen Hao's hand only after they had left Jiang Wangjuan's sight. Mr. Chen, thank you so much just now. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't know how to reject him. He and I actually don't have anything. He's my senior, and he started pestering me when I was a freshman. He kept at it for 2 years, and then he graduated, and I thought I could finally get rid of him. But what happened? Not only did I not get rid of him, it got even worse. He either blocked me at the school gate or bribed my friends to provide him with my whereabouts. It's so annoying. Brother Chen Hao, you must not misunderstand, I have nothing with him. Chen Hao laughed to himself. Does this woman really fear that I will misunderstand her? Is she trying to flirt with me? But she's right. Who can compete with him in terms of looks, wealth, and popularity? The point is his damn charm. When you get the system, there are 20 points of charm in the novice gift package. This is the place that has the greatest attraction to the opposite sex. However, Chen Hao is clear. If you want to get her, the timing is not right yet, and you need to add a little more heat. Chen Hao remained calm and then pointed to a specialty store in front of him. Since you invited me to lunch, I'll give you a gift too. What are you giving me? Xiang Si followed Chen Hao's finger and looked over. Louis Vuitton. LV? Oh my god, he's going to give me LV? Xiang Si's eyes lit up at the sight. In this world, few girls can resist the temptation of LV. No, I only invited you to eat a few tens of dollars worth of snacks at noon, but you want to give me LV, no way. Xiang Si ultimately refused. A bag casually costs tens of thousands of dollars. It's too expensive. She can't take it. Chen Hao thought to himself, you're refusing? If you refuse, how can I spend 500,000 on you? For 1 billion. You have to buy it. It's not worth much. Let's go. Stop being a drag. Xiang Si? Not worth much? That's right, for a local tyrant like you, whose house is worth billions, a few LV bags really aren't worth much. Okay. Xiang Si nodded. At the same time, she once again embraced Chen Hao's arm. Because of the strength of the hug, the pair of proud headlights were completely squashed on Chen Hao's arm. Soft and gentle. Unbelievably elastic. This allowed Chen Hao to enjoy the amazing elasticity of the young lady in the horse stance while feeling an uncontrollable emotion in his heart. Having money really means being able to do whatever you want. Hello, sir and miss, welcome to LV. As Chen Hao and Xiang Si walked in, they were greeted by a waitress in a short, skin-tight skirt, who bowed politely. Chen Hao said to Xiang Si, you can pick whatever you like in this store. If you like something, just let me know. The waitress was taken aback. Just pick whatever you like? How ostentatiously rich. Which young master is this? Why is he so arrogant? Then her smile became even brighter. Brother Chen Hao, you are too good to me. Xiang Si was moved. Brother Chen Hao, I'll go pick them out. Chen Hao laughed. Go ahead. Xiang Si followed the saleswoman to the counter to make her selection, while Chen Hao casually browsed. These bags are marked on the shelves. They range from tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands. Of course, the top-end products from LV are not just hundreds of thousands, but millions and millions. However, products of that value are simply not displayed. Those are only available to qualified old customers. Ding 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 ding. Chen Hao's phone rang. He found out it was Secretary Su calling. He picked up the phone. Secretary Su's voice came through, "Sweet as honey, boss, are you free tonight?" As soon as he heard her voice, Chen Hao couldn't help but associate her with Sister Jilin. She really is a demon. Whether I'm free or not depends on what you want to ask me. If you want to ask me out on a date, then you definitely have time. Chen Hao teased. Su Moran giggled, "This time it's really not just me asking you out. Chen Hao, is there really a third wheel present? Then I'm not really interested." Su Moran, "Mr. Chen, are you really not interested? The young woman I'm with is a young woman, not only is her figure explosive, her appearance is also incredible, not losing to mine, are you really not coming? Young wife, riding the clouds." Chen Hao was suddenly interested. Doesn't that mean there will be two beautiful women? Double the pleasure? This is a must go. Chen Hao, it's like this, I have time in the evening, just let me know the time and place. Su Moran immediately rolled his eyes. Sure enough, when I heard there was a beautiful woman, this guy would definitely be there. 6 p.m., Mindu Hotel. See you there. After saying that, Su Moran hung up the phone. Double happiness? Chen Hao laughed. As soon as he hung up the phone, he saw Xiang Si holding a handbag and couldn't put it down. She really liked it. "Miss, you have a great eye. This one is the latest model in our store. It's still on limited sale. Our store only sells 10 of these a month. If you had come a little later, there definitely wouldn't have been any left. Look at this bag, it matches your temperament so well." The saleswoman is very eloquent, and went on and on. In fact, even if the saleswoman didn't introduce it, Xiang Si also wanted to buy this one. But then, she was shocked when she saw the price on the tag. 300,000? My goodness! She was so shocked that she immediately returned the bag to the saleswoman. "It's too expensive. Saleswoman, this is the one, wrap it up for me." Chen Hao came over and looked at the price tag, and noticed that it was only 300,000. That's only 200,000 short. Then, pointing to a bag next to it, he said, "Pack that one up for me too." Chen Hao had seen earlier that Xiang Si had lingered in front of this bag for a long time, and in the end, it was because of the price that she gave up. She liked both bags. One was 300,000, and the other was 150,000. The saleswoman was overjoyed to sell 2 bags at once. She immediately picked up the 2 bags. Xiang Si was shocked. "Chen Hao, these 2 bags are really expensive, I can't take them." Xiang Si thought to herself, if I take them, will he misunderstand me as a vain gold-digging woman? If I really get misunderstood, it will not be conducive to future development. Chen Hao, however, was a little depressed. The 2 bags together only cost 450,000, and there is still a difference of 50,000? Chapter 17 Chapter 017 Take it. But it's only 50,000 yuan, which is enough to buy whatever you want in such a big mall. Shindong, it's really too expensive, I can't take it. Xiang Si said once again. Although she liked it to death, she knew she had to refuse it this time. There's no reason to accept such a valuable gift from the other party the first time. If he misunderstands her as a gold-digging woman, then it's all over. Chen Hao, however, was not to be denied. "Miss, wrap it up for me." Ridiculous. If you don't want it, how can I spend money on you? The saleswoman beamed. Handsome and generous, what's not to like? I love it when customers are so straightforward. I'm so happy to be her girlfriend. I wish I had a boyfriend who was so generous and unstinting. Chen Hao paid the bill, which came to exactly 450,000 yuan. He still needs to find 50,000 yuan to reach the 500,000 mark. As he walks out of the LV store, he can't contain his joy and says to C, "Brother Chen Hao, you're so nice." C takes the initiative to hold Chen Hao's arm. They look very affectionate. She even gives Chen Hao a special treat, with her perky breasts pressing against his arm. Perky? Chen Hao really enjoys the feeling. The two walk side by side. The man is handsome and tall. The woman is beautiful, fair-skinned and pretty. Everywhere they go, they attract the envious glances of many people. Afterwards, Chen Hao took her to the Prada boutique and bought 2 outfits in one go. The total cost was 67,000 yuan. Just as Chen Hao and the payment were completed, the system voice in his head sounded. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the task and receiving a cash reward of 1 billion yuan. Hearing this, Chen Hao's face lit up with joy. 1 billion yuan? This will completely lay me back. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. 20 minutes later, Mindu No. 1. As soon as Xiang Si entered Chen Hao's house, she was shocked by the luxurious decoration and extravagant layout of the room. 800 square meters on the first floor. 1,600 square meters on the second floor? Can you imagine how big this house is? There are 2 living rooms alone. 1 main living room, 300 square meters. 1 secondary living room, 100 square meters. There are even more rooms. And the furniture inside, all of it is from world-famous luxury brands. I'm afraid even the curtains cost tens of thousands of dollars. Is there really a sky pool? When Chen Hao took Xiang Si to the second floor, he saw the sky pool and instantly looked excited. This is more than 200 square meters, right? Chen Hao smiled and said, it should be more than 300 square meters. The water is disinfected and very clean. Xiang Si nodded her head. You can tell just by looking at the water quality. In the past, she would rather go swimming in the sea than in a public pool. Why? Because it's dirty. You heard right, it's dirty. Once, a research institute collected water samples from 31 swimming pools for analysis. The result was that on average, each swimming pool measuring 25 meters contained the urine of 180 people. Think about it. Is it clean or not? Here is a question for everyone who has never peed in a public swimming pool. Therefore, Xiang Si has never gone swimming in a public pool. But here? There is no such problem. I want to go swimming. I want to swim. I want to swim a good swim and then take some videos to show off to my friends. Xiang Si can't wait to go swimming. But then she remembered a serious problem. She doesn't have a swimsuit. When they were at the mall, Chen Hao told her that his family had a swimming pool, and at the time Xiang Si had planned to buy a swimsuit. But then, after buying a Louis Vuitton bag and clothes, she forgot about buying a swimsuit. How can you swim without a swimsuit? At this time, there was a sudden bang sound next to her. It splashed up countless water droplets. Chen Hao jumped into the water. Didn't you say you wanted to swim? Why aren't you coming in? Chen Hao dived into the water, exposing his head, and looked at Xiang Si on the shore. I want to go swimming too, but I forgot to buy a swimsuit, didn't I? Xiang Si looked a little anxious. I thought it was something big? Chen Hao laughed, it's just a swimsuit, look, I don't have one either. With that, Chen Hao walked out of the water. Xiang Si then noticed that Chen Hao was actually wearing nothing at all. When did he take off his clothes? Ah, you, rascal! Immediately blushed. Her heart was pounding. Shy. Quickly turned around, afraid to look at Chen Hao. Chen Hao, who had walked up from the water, gently embraced her from behind. Whispered in her ear, do you want to experience what it feels like to swim without a swimsuit, just like I am now? Xiang Si bit her bottom lip, quickly making a decision in her head. She knew exactly what would happen next. But after considering it for a while, Xiang Si let down all her defenses. They were both adults. How could she not know the intention of Chen Hao in spending so much money on her? The point was that she had accepted it. So she nodded. Yes. Her voice was very small, like a mosquito's chirp, but Chen Hao still heard it. Chen Hao gave a faint smile. It's done. Then, Xiang Si turned her back and slowly removed her clothes until she was in the same state as Chen Hao. I really can't control myself anymore. Chen Hao immediately picked her up in a princess carry. Brother Hao, where are we going? The room. Aren't we going swimming? Swimming can wait. There's something more important to do right now. Brother Hao, you're so bad. 2 hours later. Chen Hao sat up, leaning against the side of the bed, with his cheeks flushed as Xiang Si lay down next to him. Seeing Chen Hao sit up, She also sat up, snuggling up to Chen Hao's chest. Looking at the lovely person in his arms and the trace of blush left on the bedsheet, Chen Hao was a little surprised that this woman was still a virgin. Chen Hao picked up a pack of Zhonghua cigarettes from the bedside table and just took out one and put it in his mouth. Xiang Si immediately took the lighter on the bedside table and lit it for Chen Hao. Wow, so considerate? If Chen Hao remembered correctly, this was the first time a beautiful woman had lit his cigarette for him since he was a child. It really felt good. Just a few days ago, he was still penniless. He was at the bottom of society, his girlfriend had left him for another man, and his work was not going well. But now? He had a luxury home, a fancy car, and a bank account. A beautiful girl like Xiang Si, who used to look down on him. Now, she's obediently lying in her own bed. Chen Hao knows that this is the charm of money. Someone once said that 99% of the things in this world can be solved with money. The remaining 1% will cost even more. Although this is a bit extreme. Chen Hao doesn't believe it completely. But there is still some truth to it. Otherwise, how could a super beauty of Xiang Si's caliber be taken in just one day? Chapter 18 Chapter 018 Big breasts and no brains, long hair and short wits. Are you swimming now? Chen Hao first extinguished the cigarette butt, then hooked Xiang Si's chin with his right hand. Even now, her face was still extremely flushed. She was white with a hint of red, pure and charming. Xiang Si shook her head hard. Swimming? I don't have the energy to swim now. Chen Hao gave a faint smile. Is that all the strength you have? Xiang Si smiled bitterly. It's all because of you. Then she grabbed the phone on the bedside table, looked at the time, and said, It's been 2 hours, and you don't know how to be considerate. It still hurts. I can't even walk, so how can I swim? Xiang Si's way of acting like a spoiled child is really endearing. If you can't walk, then don't walk, and stay here tonight. Xiang Si shook her head again. I can't tonight, one of the teachers is sick and in the hospital. I already told the students that I would visit her tonight. If I'm absent, the students will stab me in the back. If it were something else, Xiang Si would be able to push it off. But visiting a sick teacher. If I cancel, it will be hard to explain to my classmates. What time did you guys make the appointment for that night? Let's meet at the school gate at 5:30 and go to the hospital together. Why? Chen Hao laughed wickedly. Then we'll still have time. It's now 3:30 in the afternoon. Chen Hao also has an appointment with Sue at 6. Double happiness, how can I not go? But it's still early. Chen Hao put his arm around Xiang Si. She smelled very nice, soft and fluffy. With such a lovely girl in his arms, Chen Hao was getting excited again. Xiang Si understood Chen Hao's meaning in seconds. Ah, again? No. I can't anymore. It still hurts. Brother Hao, please spare me? Some other day, I'll come find you. Saying this, Xiang Si deliberately leaned into Chen Hao's ear and said mysteriously, Next time, I'll wear black stockings. Hearing this, Chen Hao's eyes widened. Black stockings? That's doable. At 5:15, Chen Hao and Xiang Si came downstairs, planning to drop her off at school first, and then go to their appointment at Double Happiness. They arrived at the parking lot. Is this your car? My goodness. This car is actually yours? When Xiang Si saw Chen Hao's Bugatti, her eyes immediately lit up, and she quickly ran over to stroke the body. No girl could resist this cool and awesome look. What's wrong? Have you seen this car before? Xiang Si looked excited and nodded. I saw it in a short video taken by a classmate at our school. You have no idea how popular this car is at our school since the video came out. Everyone is guessing who this person is who can own a supercar of this caliber? Everyone is very curious about your identity. Chen Hao put his arm around her waist and inhaled the sweet fragrance she exuded. Xiang Si nodded. Of course I was curious. By the way, how much did you pay for this car? This car was given to me by the system. Chen Hao really didn't know how much it cost. He asked the system, and it told him that, according to the current price, including taxes, insurance, and everything else, the landed price was over 50 million. And when Chen Hao told Xiang Si the number 50 million, Xiang Si was so surprised that her lips trembled. 50 million? A car is 50 million? A tire, wouldn't that be more than a million? A significant portion of the population would never be able to afford a tire in their entire lives. It's downright inhumane. Chen Hao put his arm around her waist. Don't feel sad, come, sit in it and try it out. I'll let you experience the style of the Bugatti. Mm. Xiang Si nodded excitedly. This is a red supercar, a Ferrari 488. It costs 3.55 million yuan. In the passenger seat is a very pretty woman with long legs, her flesh-colored stockings intertwined. In the driver's seat is a young man. He has one hand on the window and the other on the woman's flesh-colored thigh, rubbing it. Driving a luxury car worth over 3 million yuan, with a long-legged beauty in the passenger seat. This is the life of a VIP. It's comfortable. It's relaxing. Traffic light ahead. The Ferrari 488 stops. At this moment, with a loud bang, a low sound like the growl of a beast came from behind. Then it came to a stop next to the Ferrari with a clatter. It was parked side by side with the Ferrari in front of the pavement. Can't you see my Ferrari here, buddy? Don't you know how to keep a low profile? You're treating my Ferrari like it doesn't exist, aren't you? Are you here to compete in car skills? The Ferrari man felt provoked and wanted to see who was making such a loud noise. When he turned his head to look, he recognized the other car's model and his eyes instantly widened. His lips trembled. Boo. 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 Holy cow. It's a Bugatti? The Ferrari man instantly lost his temper. At this time, he noticed Xiang Si sitting in the passenger seat of the Bugatti. Holy cow. She's super hot. Then he turned his head and looked at the long-legged beauty sitting in the passenger seat next to him. This beauty can be considered 1 in 100, but compared to Xiang Si? Holy cow. It's like night and day. Suddenly, the Ferrari man felt that the beauty in the passenger seat was not as attractive as before. And at that moment, the red light turned green. The Bugatti had already driven off, but the Ferrari remained in the same place. The beauty in the passenger seat was confused. Why aren't you driving yet? What are you waiting for? The Ferrari man gave the beauty in the passenger seat a cold stare. I'm afraid I can't afford to crash or scratch it. Do you know what kind of car just passed by? The woman said disdainfully, judging by the shape, it must be a sports car, but I've never seen the logo before, so it must be a cheap brand. Where's the style of a Ferrari? I'd rather cry in the passenger seat of a Ferrari than laugh in his car. The Ferrari man felt like kicking her out of the car. He thought, big breasts really do indicate a lack of brains. Long hair means short intelligence. It's really scary to be uneducated. He cursed, you dare to insult the car of my dreams? Do you know how much this car costs? I'll tell you, the price tag is no less than 50 million yuan. My Ferrari 488 is not even worthy of being a shoe polisher. The beautiful woman in the passenger seat was shocked when she heard this. My goodness. 50 million yuan? Then I'd rather sit in the passenger seat and laugh with him. At this moment, the Ferrari man remembered something. Yesterday, the young Master Rui said in the group chat that if anyone saw this Bugatti, he would be the first to be notified. He took out his phone and called. Hey, Rui, I saw that Bugatti heading towards the university city in the south of the city. The other person exclaimed excitedly, shit, the university town is so big, where exactly is it? The Ferrari man bitterly laughed, how the hell do I know where he's driving to? I just saw him on the road. Rui Dasha, damn it, you follow him for me, I also want to see what kind of guy is driving a car in Mindu that is even more awesome than the one I drive. Don't fucking lose him for me, I'll be there soon. Chapter 19, Chapter 019, hold on tight, I'm about to take off. The place where the Bugatti finally came to a stop was in front of a residential complex 200 meters from Mindu University. This residential complex is mainly used for rent. Most of the tenants are students from the university town, and Xiang Si rents here. She is a model. And a student. Is this the place? Chen Hao parked the car on the curb, unbuckled Xiang Si's seatbelt, and was about to get out of the car when Chen Hao's voice came from the car. What's wrong, just leaving like this? Xiang Si understood Chen Hao's meaning in an instant, immediately embraced him and gave him a kiss. The appearance of the Bugatti, with its cool styling, was impossible not to attract the attention of those around them. What kind of car is this? It looks really cool. Holy shit, isn't that the same Bugatti that was in the video of that senior from yesterday? How did it end up here? Take pictures. Take pictures. Most of the people living here are students from the university town. And since it's closest to Mindu University, most of them are students from Mindu University. Just as they were busy taking pictures and videos. Ka chow. The passenger door opened. A beautiful woman in flesh-colored stockings, a short skirt, and high heels got out of the passenger seat. The LV and Prada logos on the gift bag in her hand were really conspicuous. She was quickly recognized. Isn't this Xiang Si, a junior in the art department? The school beauty Xiang Si? She doesn't have a boyfriend, so why is she getting out of a supercar? Do you have to ask? The guy driving the supercar must be her boyfriend, right? I didn't realize she had found such a rich boyfriend. Sure enough, the school beauty's ultimate destination is still a rich second generation, right? Xiang Si paid no attention to all the buzzing and chatter, and quickened her pace back to the dormitory. She was running late for her appointment with her classmates. She needed to quickly put the groceries away in her dorm room and then meet up with them. After Xiang Si left, Chen Hao slowly started the car, then accelerated, and soon disappeared from view. Chen Hao's Bugatti left on front legs, followed by the roar of two supercars. Then there were two clicks, and it stopped at the entrance to the community. Goodness, two more supercars? I know this red one, it's a Ferrari 488, it costs over 3 million, and the other one is even more awesome, it's a Ferrari LaFerrari, it costs 30 million. Damn, 30 million? I can't afford it even if I don't eat or drink for the rest of my life. Although the LaFerrari is awesome, it still has some distance to go compared to the Bugatti just now. The one just now is the Bugatti Veyron 2024 model, with a price tag of at least 50 million. When the 50 million was mentioned, everyone around took a sharp intake of breath. Both are first-timers, so why is he so ruthless? At this time, a young man got off the Lafer, wearing a plaid shirt with the buttons on his chest deliberately unbuttoned to the third, revealing a little chest, thinking that this would be cooler. Where's the car? Where's the Bugatti? Rue Daishao looked around, but didn't see the Bugatti anywhere. He asked the people around him, "Hey, classmate, have you seen a Bugatti?" "It's gone, it's heading that way, there's an intersection up ahead, I don't know where it's gone." The passerby pointed to the road on the right. Damn, he let it get away again. Rue Daishao spat out a mouthful of saliva, very unwilling. Yesterday, he heard that a 2024 Bugatti Veyron had appeared in Greenland Square, so he rushed over immediately. The result? By the time he arrived, the Bugatti had already driven away. Today. Damn, I'm late again. Shen Hao didn't know that he had already been targeted by someone. He looked at the time and saw that it was only 5:30, still some time before the agreed 6 o'clock. He simply slowed down his speed. And while passing by Xingfu Road, he saw an acquaintance on the road. AI Ichian. Isn't this Ichian? Good guy, you're dressed so nicely tonight? Today she was wearing a tight-fitting black dress, which brought out her curvy figure to the fullest. Her slender waist is a handful, her perky buttocks have a charming curve, and every step she takes sways with a seductive grace, exuding a deadly charm. Dressed so sexy, does she have a boyfriend and is going on a date? With a click, the Bugatti stopped in front of AI Ichian. Lowering the window, Chen Hao stuck his head out. "Hello, Sister Ichian, dressed so sexy, are you going on a date with your boyfriend?" AI Ichian looked at Chen Hao in the car in surprise. "Xiao Hao, why are you driving such a car?" Although AI Ichian didn't know what kind of car it was, she could tell from the shape of the car that it must be extremely expensive. From AI Ichian's knowledge of Chen Hao, he definitely didn't have the financial resources to buy such an expensive car. Therefore, she was so surprised to see Chen Hao driving this car. Chen Hao told the truth, "I bought it. I've recently become rich, so I bought this car to have some fun." AI Ichian didn't believe him. A month ago, he was still worried about living expenses, and now he has money to buy a supercar? That's a lie. Oh, I see, you're now working as a driver for the boss at Star Dream Company, right? This car belongs to your boss, right? Chen Hao was speechless. "I told the truth, why don't you believe me?" "If you don't believe me, that's fine." Shen Hao gave up trying to explain and issued an invitation. "So, do you want to experience what it's like to sit in the passenger seat of a 50 million supercar?" AI Ichian was stunned. 50 million? My goodness. I guessed it was expensive, but I didn't think it was this expensive. The new boss of Star Dream Company is so rich? But I wonder what he looks like. I don't know if he's an old man or a young and handsome guy. AI Ichian went to the appointment. The time was 6 p.m. Considering that it was the peak hour after work, it was difficult to get a taxi. If she was late and had to make Sue, the secretary, wait for her to meet the boss of Stardream, she was afraid that the contract would be off. AI Ichian didn't waste any time and got into the passenger seat. Once she got in the car, she remembered one thing. How, this is your boss's car. I got in the passenger seat without your boss's permission. If he finds out, will he be unhappy and blame you? Some big bosses are really clean freaks. Without permission, no stranger is allowed to sit in the passenger seat. If her boss was such a clean freak, AI Ichian decided to get out of the car and take a taxi, so as not to cause trouble. For Chen Hao. Chen Hao grinned, who cares if he's happy or not, as long as you and I are happy. Hold on tight. Fasten your seatbelt. I'm so handsome I could explode, I'm going to drive. Chapter 20, Chapter 020, Double Happiness, are you one of them? Poof. One sentence made AI Ichian laugh. She hadn't seen him for a month, and how had his face gotten so thick? There was no reason to praise yourself. But, to be honest, this kid is now even more handsome than those movie stars. Sister Ichian, you look really good when you smile. Chen Hao said sincerely. In terms of appearance alone, AI Ichian is the most beautiful woman among all the women that Chen Hao knows. Xiang Xi is even inferior to her. If Xiang Xi's appearance is 95 points, then she is at least 97 points. However, in the past, Chen Hao didn't feel that she could reach 97 points. Mainly because she is a traditional woman who tends to dress conservatively. Chen Hao feels that she should have a very good figure. But it's just a feeling. Because he hadn't seen it with his own eyes, he didn't dare to make a judgment. But today, the tight-fitting dress she was wearing brought out her figure to the fullest. Those damn exaggerated curves, coupled with the light and mature young wife style, were practically inviting someone to commit a crime. She used to be so conservative, so why was she wearing something so daring today? She must be going to meet her boyfriend, right? Chen Hao was also quite curious about her boyfriend. Stop talking and just drive. AI Ichian gave Chen Hao a look. When did this kid become so smooth-talking, even daring to flirt with his sister? Chen Hao, however, just laughed. Right, you're dressed so sexy and pretty today, you must be going to see your boyfriend. I've never heard of you having a boyfriend before, when did you find one? Who told you I was going to see a boyfriend? Your sister is still single, okay? AI Ichian took out a compact from her handbag to check her makeup, and when she saw that her lipstick had faded a little, she retouched it. If she wasn't going to see a boyfriend, then who is she going to see? She doesn't have a boyfriend yet? Is she going on a blind date? That's right, Ichian, you're getting on in years. If you don't go on a blind date soon, you'll be an old maid. AI Ichian became angry at once and retorted, what do you mean by being of an age? Your sister is still under 30, so how can I be considered old? How can I be considered an older woman left behind? Poof. Chen Hao knew that AI Ichian wasn't really angry. If she wasn't going to see her boyfriend or a blind date, he really couldn't think of anyone else who was worth dressing up so sexy and beautiful for. I'm going to see your boss. AI Ichian said, didn't your company get a new boss? This morning he increased the advertising budget from 6 million to 20 million. I've been meaning to thank him, but I haven't been able to meet him in person. I contacted Secretary Sue. She helped me arrange a dinner with your boss tonight. Chen Hao's eyes widened, what? Double happiness. So the other person is you? The young woman Secretary Sue described as not inferior to her is you. But even if you are meeting our boss, you don't need to dress so sexy. For normal business interactions, just dress formally. That's what I thought before. AI Ichian sighed. Secretary Sue told me that the new boss is not only young and handsome, but also good in every way, except that he is a bit lecherous. So, he told me to dress sexy, so that it would be easier to negotiate business. Sue, you are saying this about me behind my back? Am I lecherous? This question is worth Chen Hao's deep thought. It seems that she is right. But, knowing that the new boss is horny, and you still dress like this, isn't that like a lamb going into the tiger's mouth? AI Ichian shook her head. Don't worry, Secretary Sue also said that the guy has the heart but not the guts. In case, if he tries to do anything to me, I have this. And said, AI Ichian took something out of her handbag. Chen Hao glanced at it, pepper spray. Okay. It's a strong dose. If you get sprayed with it, your eyes will go blind. How, you drive for your new boss after all, and you spend a lot of time with him, so tell me, what do you know about him? You've asked the right person, no one knows him better than I do. AI Ichian burst out laughing again. This brat, not only has he become smooth and slick, but he's also shameless? Then I'll just briefly describe him. First, you say he's lecherous, but that's not entirely true. I can tell you responsibly that as long as a man is alive, no man is not lecherous. As the old saying goes, men only become bad when they have money. That's pure nonsense. It's not that they become bad when they have money, but they are bad even when they don't have any. It's just that for various reasons, such as inferiority complexes, or because they can't afford the cost of cheating, they dare not act on it. Second, it's not that he has the desire but lacks the courage. The courage to act on one's desires varies from person to person. As long as it's not mutual, he would never use coercion. Third, he is very handsome, so handsome that he is the cause of public anger and resentment, so handsome that he is a source of awe and fear, so handsome that he has no friends. What's more, he is young and has a good sense of humor. Fourth, he is now rich, driving a multi-million supercar, living in a multi-billion mansion, with 10 billion in the bank, and a company full of beautiful women. Chunhui could go on if he talked about him. AI Ichian immediately stopped him. If she didn't stop him, she didn't know how long he would go on. Stop. I asked you to tell me about your boss, not to whitewash him. There is no need to tell me whether he is a womanizer or not, and there is no need to tell me that he has the heart but not the guts. As for whether he is handsome or not, I don't care either. I just want to ask you, how much does he pay you as a salary, and you praise him like this? Chunhui said seriously, I am not exaggerating, what I said are all facts, because I know him best in the world. AI Ichian didn't believe him. He only bought your company a few days ago. Even if you are his driver, you have only met him a few times. How the hell would you know anything about him? Okay, it's pointless to ask you. Anyway, I'll be meeting him soon, and I'll find out for myself. Interesting. Chunhui was amused. He just wondered what her reaction would be when she found out that he was the new boss. Looking forward to it. At that moment, AI Ichian's phone rang. The caller ID showed her father. On the phone, her father told her that the hospital had found a suitable bone marrow donor for her grandmother. As long as the 300,000 yuan was paid in full, the bone marrow transplant could be performed immediately. Dad, don't worry, the money is already in place. I just signed a big contract and will get a 600,000 commission. I'll have the company advance the money to me. Ichian, you have to hurry. The hospital said that if they don't see the money tomorrow, they'll give the marrow to someone else. This is your grandmother's last chance. AI Ichian nodded. She knew that there were too many people waiting for marrow. After hanging up the phone, AI Ichian immediately called the company's finance department, hoping that she could get the advance on her commission. According to company regulations, commission is paid out with the salary the following month. If it were a small amount of money, the finance manager would have transferred it to her because of her relationship with AI Ichian, but this commission is 600,000 yuan, and the finance manager cannot make the decision. Ichian, don't worry, the general manager is out of the country, and the vice president is in charge. As long as he gives the nod, I'll transfer the money to you immediately. Okay, I'll go find the vice president. AI Ichian immediately called the vice president back, but after she explained the purpose of the money, the vice president told her something she could never accept. Chapter 21 Chapter 021 I am the new owner of Stardream. Xiaohao, let me off at the next intersection, I need to go back to the company. After hanging up the phone, AI Ichian's face was not right. Her face was ashen. She was furious. Damn Vice President Zhou, how dare he embezzle my money? Just now, AI Ichian called Vice President Zhou, hoping to get an advance on the commission. The result? Vice President Zhou came straight to the point. You are not the only one who can talk about the business of Stardream Company. What he meant was that the commission could not be divided only to you. AI Ichian was furious on the spot. She had worked hard for a month. Finally, she got the order from Stardream, but you want to share the commission? You want to give 30% of the commission to Meina? Because it was Meina who initially negotiated with Starry Dream, Vice President Zhou said, if it wasn't for Meina's groundwork, AI Ichian, you wouldn't even be able to get into Starry Dream. Pa, why should I share my hard-earned money with her? Groundwork? I'll show you groundwork. I've taken care of a company that you couldn't, and now you want to take 30% of my commission? Dream on. No one can take away my money just because they want it. Do you think I'm an easy target? AI Ichian became more and more angry as she thought about it. She decided not to have dinner. She immediately called Sue's secretary and told her that she had a sudden problem and could not go that night. What's your boss like? Will he be angry if I cancel? AI Ichian also had this worry. She was the one who invited the people over, and now she was running away? Anyone would be very angry, right? He won't be angry. Chen Hao just grinned. Don't let his good looks and youth fool you, he's got a big heart. As the saying goes, a prime minister's stomach can hold a boat, which means he's as generous as that, so. Stop. AI Ichian immediately stopped Chen Hao. If she didn't, who knows how long he would have kept going. AI Ichian noticed a problem. That is, whenever Chen Hao praises the new boss of Starry Dream, he is always full of praise and can't wait to heap all the compliments on him. Does he admire him that much? Stop the car up ahead. Let me off. I'll drive you there. This isn't a good idea. Aren't you going to pick up your boss? If you're late, won't he be angry? Never mind him, your business is more important. Half an hour later, Chen Hao and AI Ichian arrived at Fujian Advertising Company. The car pulled over. Chen Hao, thank you. You hurry back with the car, don't let your boss wait too long. No rush, I'll wait for you, you go in, I'll wait here for you. That's fine. AI Ichian left. She left for about 15 minutes and came out. She had red, puffy eyes. Her face was downcast. Lend your shoulder to your sister, I want to lean on it. Sister, I really want to cry. Chen Hao had not yet reacted to what was going on when AI Ichian, who had walked over, threw herself into his arms. Hugging Chen Hao. She rested her head on his shoulder. Oh. AI Ichian really did burst into tears. Ichian, what's going on? What just happened? Were you bullied by that Zou person? AI Ichian was crying, so there was no need to guess that she had been bullied. This made Chen Hao feel pretty bad. Chen Hao didn't have many friends. AI Ichian was one of them. How can I just stand by and do nothing when I see her being bullied? That Zou guy just wouldn't give me the money. He told me to get lost. He even said he was going to fire me. Oh, my grandma is still in the hospital, and the bone marrow match was a success. We were just waiting to pay the money and have the operation. But this Zou bastard deliberately screwed me over. Hearing this, Chen Hao was really angry. He was going to withhold the money for life-saving surgery? What a bastard. Ichian, don't worry, I'll get the money back for you. Chen Hao gently embraced AI Ichian from behind. He patted her on the back. You can get it back? AI Ichian stopped crying and looked up at Chen Hao. Chen Hao nodded, of course, it's a piece of cake. If you can't get it back, do whatever you want. If it were any other company, Chen Hao wouldn't have been able to do anything. This Fujian Advertising? Ha. When I signed the contract, I left myself a way out. Of course, if I want it back, what then? Promise me one thing. AI Ichian thought to herself, if I can get the money back, I'll promise you 10 things, not to mention just one thing. Nodding, okay, what is it? Keep it a secret for now, I'll tell you when it's settled. Wait a moment, I need to make a call. Chen Hao made a call. It was to Secretary Sue. After the call was connected, Chen Hao walked over to the side and had a little chat for a while. Quickly. The call ended. Chen Hao walked back over. AI Ichian looked at Chen Hao doubtfully, is that it? Chen Hao smiled, more or less, just wait. AI Ichian glared, you were able to fix it with just one phone call? Why don't I believe it? After about 5 minutes, 2 people came running out of the company in a hurry. A man and a woman. The man was bald, 1.6 meters tall, and weighed over 200 pounds. He was clean-shaven. He looked like a pig. He was the vice president of Fujian Company. Running out with him was a young woman in her 30s. She was wearing black stockings and a short skirt. She was sexy, really sexy. She was a salesperson at the company. She was also Vice President Zou's mistress. AI Ichian was going to split the commission with her. Ichian, it's all my fault, it's all my fault. What just happened was a misunderstanding. You mustn't take it personally. I've already told the finance department to process the 600,000 commission for you, and it will be in your account soon. Vice President Zhou was sweating, his posture was low, and he was smiling. He was a completely different person from 10 minutes ago. AI Ichian was immediately confused. What's wrong with him? Has he found his conscience? No way, this guy's conscience has long been eaten by dogs. Where is there any conscience left? Ding dong. That was the sound of her phone alerting her to an incoming text message. AI Ichian took out her phone and read it. Her eyes widened. 650,000 yuan? Goodness. It had arrived in her account, and there was an extra 50,000 yuan. Ichian, this extra 50,000 yuan is your bonus. You helped the company clinch such a big deal, so the company is rewarding you. Vice President Zhou's smile was even more hideous than if he had been crying. AI Ichian was completely baffled. Can someone please tell me what's going on? Why has the previously arrogant Vice President Zhou turned into a whipped dog? Why? AI Ichian looked at Chen Hao, who she saw making a phone call earlier. Who did you just call? How did you manage to do that? Chen Hao grinned. I told Secretary Su that you must be the one to deal with our company in the future, or else all business with Fujian Company will be terminated immediately. You tell me, doesn't this Vice President Zhou serve you? How dare he fire you? AI Ichian was surprised. Why does Secretary Su listen to you so much? Why is whatever you say the truth? Chen Hao looked at AI Ichian, and up to now Chen Hao had no intention of hiding it. To be honest with you, in fact, I am the new boss of Stardream. Chapter 22 Chapter 022 Bet, help me overcome my fear of the dark. Chen Hao thought that after he revealed the truth, AI Ichian would be shocked and then look at him with admiration. But no. No surprise. No admiration. The woman didn't believe him at all. She even placed her delicate hand on Chen Hao's forehead and said in an educational tone, Chen Hao, how could you have changed so much after just a month? It's not like bragging is taxed, but you can't just go around bragging like that. Is it really that glorious to put gold on your own face? Chen Hao was furious. How did I put gold on my own face? I'm just telling the truth. AI Ichian immediately rolled her eyes. The truth, my ass, you're not a second-generation rich kid. Where did you get the money to buy Star Dream Destiny? Do you even know how much it's worth? Your family grows fruit. Even if you sell the whole mountain, you can't get even a fraction of the price of Star Dream. Chen Hao was speechless. She didn't believe him when he told the truth. Forget it. No point in explaining. At this time, AI Ichian suddenly leaned close to Chen Hao and whispered mysteriously, actually, I already guessed that you are in a relationship with Secretary Su, right? Otherwise, I really can't imagine why she listens to you so much. Chen Hao was speechless and said, you think I'm in a relationship with him? You have a really rich imagination. Why don't you just say that I'm being supported by him? AI Ichian slapped her thigh and exclaimed, right, that's possible too. You're so handsome now that I want to support you, but unfortunately I don't have the means to do so. Like hell you do. Chen Hao was helpless and said, okay, the matter is settled, can we go now? Who said the matter is settled? Wait a minute. AI Ichian turned around and looked at Vice President Zhou. Vice President, thank you for your care over the past few years. I have no regrets. By the way, when the general manager returns someday, please say goodbye to her for me. After saying this, AI Ichian turned around and planned to leave. Vice President Zhou became anxious upon hearing this. What is the situation with AI Ichian? Is she going to quit? How can this be? If you quit, the business of Star Dream will fail. If the business of Starry Dream fades, the company's operations will be in trouble. If the general manager finds out, your position as vice president will be over. Ichian, didn't I give you all the commission? Why do you still want to leave? Vice President Zhou stopped AI Ichian. AI Ichian looked at him with interest. Vice President Zhou, you are forgetful. Earlier, you said you were going to fire me, and I have already been fired by you. Okay. We'll never meet again. Goodbye. After saying this, AI Ichian pulled Chen Hao over and, in the midst of the extremely depressed Vice President Zhou and the stunned gaze of his sexy mistress, who had said nothing, got into the Bugatti. Ha ha! So comfortable. After the car started, AI Ichian felt much better. She had been bullied by this man every day. Today, she had finally made him eat his words. She couldn't contain her happiness. After buckling her seatbelt, she stretched comfortably. It's fine for her to stretch, but it made Chen Hao's heart race. She was already wearing something relatively tight today. It was a tight-fitting one-piece long dress. The seatbelt passed between the two peaks, making the already towering peaks appear even more upright. And at this very moment, she stretched. This? Okay. I can't stand it, I can't stand it. I've finally let out some steam. Great. After Ai Ichian stretched, she saw Chen Hao undo the seatbelt he had just fastened. What was even more strange was that he pushed the door open and got out of the car. What was even more strange was that when he walked, he kept his legs close together and hunched over, a bit like a shrimp. Xiao Hao, where are you going? Ai Ichian asked from behind. She was very curious, what was wrong with Chen Hao? Looking at the direction Chen Hao was going, it seemed like he was going to the toilet. Is he in a hurry to pee? When Chen Hao got back into the car, Ai Ichian was on the phone. General Manager Ouyang, yes, there is no me without him, and there is no him without me. Let me give you a heartfelt piece of advice, I have not been happy with him for a long time. You should know what kind of person he is. Today, he so blatantly deducted my commission, and it was only because Starry Dream helped me that he suffered a loss. What about next time? As long as he gets the chance, he will definitely make my life hell. So, if you want me to go back to the company, fine. Fire him. As long as he is in the company, I, Ai Ichian, will never set foot in Fuchang Company. Okay, General Manager Ouyang, that's it, I have something else to do. After saying that, Ai Ichian hung up the phone. Chen Hao started the car and said, are you threatening General Manager Ouyang to get Vice President Zhou fired? Ai Ichian said nonchalantly, there is indeed a threat, but what can I do? That Zhou is a complete villain. If I don't get him this time, he'll get me next. That's just the way the workplace is. If you don't make enemies, everyone can get along and leave each other alone. But once you do make enemies, it's a fight to the death. Ai Ichian and Vice President Zhou have fallen out like this. She knows very well that if Vice President Zhou is still in the company, she will definitely not have a happy ending in the future. Therefore, he must be removed. Then you're not worried that General Manager Ouyang will keep the Vice President and fire you? Ai Ichian looked out the window and said lightly, I'm holding an order of 20 million from your company, and the company has already had a funding gap. We're counting on these 20 million to keep us afloat, so as long as General Manager Ouyang hasn't lost his mind, there's no way he'll fire me. Oh yeah, when it comes to this matter, I still have to thank you. If you hadn't helped me, not to mention the 600,000 commission, I'm afraid I would have lost my job. Chen Hao lowered the window to let the outside air in. Compared to the air conditioning, Chen Hao still preferred the natural breeze. You can forget the thanks. Do you remember the condition you promised me earlier? Ai Ichian nodded, I'm not a villain who crosses the bridge and demolishes the bridge. Of course I remember, just say it, what is the condition? Previously, the two had a bet. Now Chen Hao has one. Chen Hao parked the car with a click on the curb. In fact, I've always had a wish. Ever since I saw you, Sister Ichian, for the first time, I've had an idea. Ai Ichian immediately asked warily, you brat, you haven't been secretly in love with me, have you? Are you going to confess to me now? Chen Hao, don't interrupt, let me finish. Ai Ichian immediately covered her mouth and then stopped talking. If he really did confess to her, what should I do? It's like this. I've always been afraid of the dark since I was a child. So, I hope that you, Ichian, can wear black stockings to help me overcome my fear of the dark. Chapter 23, Chapter 023. Ai Ichian is willing to accept the consequences of a bet, it's just wearing black stockings, right? Wearing black stockings? Overcome the fear? Overcome the hell. You big pervert. How could Ai Ichian not see Chen Hao's little scheme? Great. You've got some nerve, you even dare to flirt with me. Take this. Ai Ichian clenched her fist and smashed it into Chen Hao. Chen Hao's forehead was hammered. It hurts. What's wrong, do you want to change your mind? Chen Hao rubbed his aching head. This woman really hit? Who says I want to change my mind? Ai Ichian, will do what I say. Ai Ichian thought for a while and said, it's not that I can't show you black silk, but unfortunately, I'm sorry, sister, I'm not in the habit of carrying black silk with me at all times. Ai Ichian's implication was, it's not that I don't want to keep my promise, but I really don't have the conditions right now. If I don't even have any black silk, how can I show it to you? AI Ichian was secretly pleased with herself, but soon she couldn't smile anymore. She saw Chen Hao seemingly perform a magic trick and pick up a small bag from under his feet. When Chen Hao spread open the bag and the contents were exposed to AI Ichian's view, AI Ichian was dumbfounded. Black silk? Gray silk? Openwork, mesh. Awesome. And with letters. All kinds and models. When did you buy them? AI Ichian asked in surprise. There's a Balenciaga right next to Fuchan Company, so I went and bought some while I was on the toilet. AI Ichian was on the phone when Chen Hao came back. She didn't notice that Chen Hao was carrying a bag. AI Ichian asked again, you mean when you were running out with your back bent? Chen Hao nodded with a smile. You, premeditated? Cut the crap, please start your performance. AI Ichian was silent for a while. Fine, I'll wear it, what's the big deal? It's just black silk. AI Ichian carried the bag with the black silk in it. Then she got out of the car. They went to a large shopping mall nearby. Chen Hao was thrilled when he saw that AI Ichian had actually worn the black silk. To be honest, Chen Hao was just trying it out. He didn't think she would wear it. And the result? This woman really keeps her word. After that, Chen Hao began to wait. He waited for half an hour. AI Ichian returned. She sat back in the passenger seat. Where was the black silk? Was she not wearing it? Chen Hao was puzzled. The woman looked the same when she went out as she did when she came back. Just as Chen Hao was wondering, AI Ichian slowly pulled up the hem of her skirt. She was wearing a tight-fitting long skirt today. The hem of the skirt was almost at the level of his heels. When she pulled the hem up a little, her calves were suddenly revealed. What do you think? Does it look good? AI Ichian couldn't hold back her laughter. Pantyhose? Holy shit! It's all inside, so what's there to see? Watching Chen Hao's dejected expression, AI Ichian couldn't hold back her laughter any longer. Ha, I kept my promise. Only, you didn't say that panty lines were not allowed. Chen Hao. I'll give you a big fat cross. Liar. Big liar. But it seems that you really didn't say that panty lines were not allowed before? AI Ichian was laughing so hard that her stomach ached. Little brat, playing mind games with your big sister? You're still young. At that moment, the sound of a low-pitched car engine suddenly came from far away. Then, with a click, the car stopped next to Chen Hao's Bugatti. Shit, I finally got you. Bugatti? The 2024 model Bugatti? It's a sports car. It also has a crazy, cool, and awesome appearance. As soon as the supercar stopped, a young man rushed out of the driver's cabin. Cool, really fucking cool. This is the legendary Bugatti Veyron, or the 2024 model. It's much cooler than my Ferrari Monza SP. For sports car lovers, Bugatti is definitely their true love. This car is not something you can buy just because you have money. Because the production is so low. Demand exceeds supply. You have to queue up to buy one. Rue Daisa has always dreamed of owning a Bugatti. Unfortunately, they are always out of stock. He has even considered buying a second-hand one, but no one is willing to sell one. As far as he knows, there are no more than 5 Bugatti models in the whole of China. Not just the Veyron model. There are no more than 5 Bugatti models in the whole of China. My goodness, a Bugatti is a Bugatti. Hey, man, let's get acquainted. I'm Situ Rue. After taking a good look at the Bugatti, Situ Rue went to the driver's seat. He bent down. He looked at Chen Hao in the driver's seat. Upon seeing him, he exclaimed, "My goodness! Is this kid that handsome?" Situ Rue, who never accepted anyone's opinion on good looks, was taken aback when he saw Chen Hao again. The car is handsome, and so is the guy? What's more important is that when he noticed AI Ichian in the passenger seat, he was taken aback. A young woman? This woman is hot. There was also a beauty in the passenger seat of Situ Rue's car. A mature woman in her 30s. This Situ Rue has a hobby. When it comes to picking up girls, he definitely doesn't go for those under 30. What little girls and young ladies? None of that is his type. This guy is partial to older women between the ages of 30 and 40. The woman in the passenger seat is probably about 35. In his words, women at this age not only have skills, but also a special charm. Hello, my name is Chun Hao. What's up? Chen Hao glanced at his car. He recognized the car logo as a Ferrari. As for which model, Chen Hao didn't know. However, judging from the shape of the car, it should be worth tens of millions. Is that so? Are you interested in a drag race to let me experience the style of a Bugatti? C2 Rouet issued an invitation. Chen Hao was going to refuse. I still have to take AI each in to the hospital, so how could I have time to drag race with you? What Chen Hao didn't expect was that at this moment, the system's voice came over. Ding, mission issued, agree to C2 Rouet's request to race and win. After completing the task, you will be rewarded a supercar. Note, if you are 0 to 10 seconds ahead, you will win and be rewarded with a supercar. If you are 10 to 20 seconds ahead, you will win and be rewarded with 2 supercars. If you are 21 to 30 seconds ahead, you will win and be rewarded with 3 supercars. And so on, for every 10 seconds ahead, you will be rewarded with 1 more supercar. Chapter 24 Chapter 024 Rui Dasha was convinced. How could there be such a powerful figure in Mindu? Good guy, this system is getting more and more powerful. Although the system did not say clearly what supercar was being rewarded, Chen Hao knew for sure that it would definitely not be in the 1 to 2 million range. For a man, the more cars, the better. Drag racing? I'm not afraid of anyone. How do you compare? When Chen Hao won the Bugatti Veyron, the system also gave him god-level driving skills. Drag racing? He really isn't afraid of anyone. Wow, that's a big mouth. I just don't know if your skills are up to this level of sports car. You know Jiufeng Mountain, right? Starting from the foot of the mountain, whoever crosses this mountain ring road first wins, okay? Chen Hao nodded, no problem. Situ Rue got back in his car. Afterwards, his car led the way, and Chen Hao followed. After about 10 minutes, they arrived at the foot of Jiufeng Mountain. At this time, the window of the passenger seat of the Ferrari slowly lowered. A stunning woman wearing sunglasses appeared. Don't look at this woman, she is already 35 years old. But the years have not left any traces on her. On the contrary, because of the passage of time, she exudes an irresistible mature aura. This Situ Rue has good taste. The beautiful woman held a white tissue in her right hand and stuck her right arm out the window. Then, with a mighty swing, she threw the tissue into the air. As the white tissue was thrown into the air, boom! The 2 supercars, one of which cost over 10 million yuan, and the other 15 million yuan, rushed out almost at the same time. Wow, off to a good start, huh? Inside the Ferrari, Situ Rue looked relaxed. As vice president of the supercar club, there were not many people in all of Mindu who could beat him at drag racing. The point is, this road was built by their club. He comes here almost every week to take a few laps. He knows the road like the back of his hand. So, even though he knows that his Ferrari is inferior to the Bugatti in terms of performance, and that it will have a slower start, although it is still behind, he doesn't feel like he will lose. It's a straight line now. In a straight line, the Ferrari definitely can't beat the Bugatti. I'll see how I can overtake you in the turns. A sneer of contempt appeared at the corner of Stewart's mouth as he quickly reached the first turn. This corner was 90 degrees. As he approached the corner, Stewart slowed down a little. From 220 km per hour, he reduced his speed to 120. Even he did not dare to go over 120 km per hour in a 90-degree corner. But the next second, Stewart's eyes widened. He saw the Bugatti, which was about 3 car lengths ahead of him, not slowing down at all, and perform a masterful drift. With a swish, the car passed the corner perfectly and disappeared from his line of sight. How was that possible? Stu Rue was completely dumbfounded. His car was going at least 150 miles per hour just now. To pass a 90-degree corner at 150 miles per hour, was that comparable to a semi-professional racer? The Mindu Luxury Car Club, where Stu Rue was full of experts. Among them were no shortage of drivers who had retired from the professional racing scene. But even they were afraid to easily challenge the 150-mile-per-hour cornering. Situ Rue immediately realized the gap between him and Chen Hao. But Situ was not a quitter. It was only the first corner, and the road conditions got worse and worse. He was not familiar with the terrain. He still had a chance. In terms of driving skills alone, Situ already felt inferior. But he thought, with the advantage of being familiar with the terrain, he might be able to turn the tide. But no. The idea was good. Reality was quite cruel. He never saw Chen Hao's taillights the whole way. Until he reached the finish line, he didn't see Chen Hao's car. No need to guess, he must have reached the finish line and didn't wait for him, but left first. Situ stopped the car, lowered the window, and lit a cigarette. His mood was incredibly complex. The car is better than mine? The girl in the passenger seat is prettier than me? And he's also better looking? And he's even better at driving than me? What kind of monster is this? How come I've never heard of this person before? Situarui was a little unsure of himself. Then he took out his phone and sent a message to the group in silence. I raced a Bugatti on Jiufeng Mountain and was completely dominated, at least 20 seconds behind. As soon as he sent the message, the Supercar Club group immediately went into an uproar. Fuck, 20 seconds behind? You run the Jiufeng Mountain Road every day, and you're still 20 seconds behind? Rui Daxiao, what kind of car are you driving? Some people thought that Situ must have driven a piece of junk today, otherwise with his skills, it was impossible to be 20 seconds behind. Situ Ferrari Monza SP. The group was in a short moment of ecstasy, and then it exploded. My ass, the Monza SP lost 20 seconds to the Bugatti? How is this possible? Brother Tian, are you sure you didn't let up? Everyone was shocked. Situ didn't send any more messages, and as he smoked, he felt more complex than ever. How did I lose to him by so much? Was I really that shocked? It really doesn't feel good to lose. At this moment, his phone rang. It was a friend of his. Situ thought he was calling to find out the details of his situation, but as soon as the call connected, the other person said rather excitedly, Rui, Pagani Zonda, Lamborghini Veneno, and Koenigsegg 1 have appeared at Yida Plaza. Situ directly cursed, are you fucking awake yet? These three cars are so rare that unless it's an auto show, the probability of them appearing together is almost zero. The other person said, Rui, I also heard about it from someone else, and the authenticity needs to be studied. I plan to go take a look. Are you going? C2 Rui hesitated. Could it be true? He ultimately decided to go take a look, even though the credibility of the information was not high. Because these three cars are all supercars. They are all more awesome than Chen Hao's Bugatti Veyron. Especially that Koenigsegg, which costs a whopping 100 million. Usually, these three cars are hard to see at the same time, and the probability of seeing all three at the same time is extremely low. All three cars appear together? The authenticity is indeed not high, but as a sports car enthusiast, even if the credibility is not high, I still plan to go and take a look, just in case it's true. Chapter 25 Chapter 025 Chen Hao met a beautiful internet celebrity, Fate. On the other side, after Chen Hao passed the finish line, he left directly without waiting for Situ. Chen Hao, I'm going to kill you. Ai Yiqian, who was in the passenger seat, was furious. She looked pale, her anger reaching the extreme. She was pale from fear. This was a mountain road. The turns were over 150 yards. Every turn felt like it was going to send the car off the road. If it did, she would be killed. Ai Yiqian had never ridden in such a crazy car before. Her legs were weak. I almost peed my pants. She gripped the handrail the whole time, not daring to breathe a sigh of relief, until after the finish line and the car slowed down, she let go of the handrail. Chen Hao, on the other hand, grinned from ear to ear. Wasn't it exciting? Do you want to do it again? You're crazy, you really are crazy. You're playing with your lives, you're all crazy. Ai Yiqian gave Chen Hao a cold stare. Although it was indeed very exciting, she really didn't want to do it again. This is fucking playing with your lives. Hao, take my advice and don't drive like that again. Chen Hao just smiled and didn't say anything. Was it dangerous? For other people, it was indeed dangerous. But for Chen Hao, who had god-level driving skills, it was child's play. After about 10 minutes, Ai Yiqian got out of the car at the municipal hospital. She was going to go see her grandmother. Chen Hao had planned to invite her to see the 3 supercars that the system had just rewarded him with. But when she said she was going to the hospital, he didn't feel right inviting her. Afterwards, Chen Hao returned to Mindu number 1. The Bugatti was parked. The 3 supercars just awarded by the system were parked in the parking lot of Yida Plaza, 1 street away from Mindu number 1. Chen Hao didn't go straight to pick up the car. He hadn't eaten dinner and was still hungry. Let's eat first. On the first floor of Yida Plaza, there is a self-service barbecue restaurant with relatively affordable prices, only 99 yuan per person. Chen Hao had brought her girlfriend here once before. The food was delicious. After they broke up, Chen Hao had wanted to come here again. But with his tight budget, he couldn't afford to come. Now, with 1 billion yuan in his account, he could eat as much as he wanted. Last time, Chen Mengqi broadcasted the Bugatti Veyron live, and it made her gain more than 1,000 followers overnight. Having tasted the sweetness, she feels that broadcasting supercars is like a traffic password. It's just a pity that supercars of this level, like the Bugatti Veyron, are hard to come by. She was originally broadcasting live from Yida Square, when she suddenly heard someone say that there were 3 supercars worth tens of millions of yuan parked on the square outside. Chen Mengqi immediately went to the parking lot. Holy shit, is this for real? Are there really 3 supercars? Everyone in the broadcast room, did you see these 3 cars? I'm currently at Yida Plaza. Everyone in Mindu City, come and watch. While Chen Mengqi was talking, the camera kept focusing on the 3 supercars. The broadcast room instantly went into a frenzy. One is a Pagani Zonda, another is a Lamborghini Poison, and the most exaggerated one is the legendary Koenigsegg one. Nima, it's the Koenigsegg one? Chen Mengqi doesn't really know much about these supercars. Seeing the shock on the fans' faces in the live broadcast room, she asked, is this Koenigsegg one as good as the Bugatti Veyron? In the live broadcast room. Fan, I'm crazy about cars. The landing price of a Bugatti Veyron is 50 million, and the bare car price of a Koenigsegg one is 100 million. Chen Mengqi's eyes widened when she saw the number 100 million. The bare car is already 100 million. What about the landing price? Isn't it 120 to 130 million? Chen Mengqi was extremely shocked. Who is this local tyrant who is so rich that he's inhumane? After being introduced to the other 2 cars by her fans, Chen Mengqi was equally shocked. One was 70 million. The other was 50 million. And these were the bare car prices. Which super rich second-generation group of friends has come here? Chen Mengqi was full of envy. When I become famous and make money, I'll buy a luxury car like this to blow up the street. Chen Mengqi was live streaming and recording at the same time. After she goes back, she plans to edit the footage into a video for release. About 10 minutes later, more and more people have arrived after hearing the news, and the 3 cars are already surrounded by a sea of people. The parking lot is worried about the cars being scratched, so they have specially arranged for 5 security guards to watch over them. Everyone, there are too many people now, it's so crowded, I can't broadcast live anymore. Oh no, I haven't even had dinner yet. Earlier, I passed by a barbecue restaurant. I haven't eaten there before, but it looks very clean and the environment is good. Let's go eat barbecue. Chen Mengqi was still glad in her heart that she had come early, when there were not many people. If she came now, there would be people all around, and there would be no way to broadcast live. She looked at the number of people online. Yay! It had broken 300. Before the live broadcast of the supercar, there were only about 100 people online. In just 10 minutes, more than 200 people had come in. This made Chen Mengqi feel so good. She felt that her star was shining brightly. Chen Mengqi went to the barbecue restaurant and was led by a waiter to a table by the window. Hey, isn't that brother local tyrant? Chen Mengqi said in surprise, hello, brother local tyrant. The people in the live broadcast room also recognized Chen Hao. Holy shit, is he really the owner of the gorgeous Bugatti? I've never been convinced by anyone when it comes to being handsome, except for brother local tyrant. Where is the local tyrant's Bugatti? I was still in awe of the last one I saw, so let me admire the Bugatti style again. Chen Hao, who was grilling meat, looked up and revealed his handsome face, which is enough to charm thousands of women. Hello. Then, he greeted the fans in the live broadcast room with ease. Hello, everyone. Fan A, handsome, young, and so approachable, a gentleman, polite, oh, I really want to have a godson like this. Fan B, I love it, I love it. Does the young man have a girlfriend? Fan C, I wish my boyfriend was this handsome. Fan D, I want to fall in love, young man, are you free? Fan E, young man, are you interested in a one-night stand? I'm not after your money, the point is I want to sit in the passenger seat of a Bugatti and cry. Chen Mingqi felt speechless when she read these messages from the live broadcast fans. Are these the women who, as the saying goes, can't walk away from a super handsome guy? Chen Mingqi was about to say something when a sentence suddenly came out of the live broadcast room, causing the whole audience to fall silent instantly. I'm crazy about cars, everyone. Have you ever wondered if the 3 supercars in the parking lot also belong to the local tyrant? Chapter 26, Episode 026, Showing Off Your Wealth in Front of Chen Hao? Just know that there are 10 billion yuan lying in the bank. This sentence instantly silenced the live broadcast room. If the 3 cars outside were also owned by local tyrant, then his identity would really be terrifying. What kind of family background would one need to have in order to be able to buy 4 supercars of this level at the same time? Even Chen Mingqi was shocked for a moment. However, soon, this unrealistic idea was rejected by Chen Mingqi. Have you ever seen someone go out and drive 3 cars? Everyone, don't guess. Let me ask you, have you ever seen anyone go out and drive 3 cars? So, everyone, don't guess. After saying a few words to the fans, Chen Mingqi looked at Chen Hao with a smile. Brother local tyrant, can I share a table with you? Sure. It's boring to eat alone anyway, and it's not bad to have a beautiful woman as company. Seeing that Chen Hao had agreed, Chen Mingqi sat down. She sat across from Chen Hao. Let me formally introduce myself. My name is Chen Mingqi. I'm very happy to meet you. What a coincidence, my surname is also Chen. So, we're related? Chen Mingqi suddenly felt that she had become much closer to Chen Hao. Continuing to find topics to talk about. Brother Chen, did you often come here to eat before? As soon as this question was asked, Chen Mingqi regretted it. How could such a super local tyrant come to such a cheap restaurant often? This question is really stupid. Chen Hao shook his head. No, I rarely come here, just once. Because it's too expensive here, I couldn't afford it before, and I didn't dare to come again after eating here once. Not only did Chen Mingqi laugh at this, but the people in the live broadcast room were also amused. How could a super local tyrant driving a Bugatti not be able to afford a 99 yuan buffet barbecue? Isn't that ridiculous? After chatting for a while, the two became more familiar with each other, and Chen Mingqi took the initiative to ask Chen Hao for his contact information. Live broadcast room. Oh, I knew that Mingqi definitely had an ulterior motive for taking the initiative to sit with the local tyrant. Hey, you want WeChat? Last time I told you to take the initiative, but you were all shy and awkward, and you didn't react until after the guy had already left. Today, finally, you've come to your senses? Mingqi, can you send me the WeChat ID of brother local big spender in private? I want to add in too. How about I send you a rocket? Why do I have the feeling that brother local big spender is about to be abducted by Mingqi? Just as Chen Mingqi and Chen Hao had just added each other as contacts, a familiar but annoying voice sounded from behind them. Hey, isn't this Chin University's most beautiful girl? A woman walked over from the doorway, with a simple yet sexy halter top. With her heavy makeup, it is hard to tell her age. She is carrying an LV handbag, which shows off her local tyrant aura. Chen Hao had seen this bag when he accompanied Tianxi to buy a bag at the LV store. It costs more than 70,000 yuan. It is really not affordable for ordinary people. Her name is Lu Yanyan. Like Chen Mingqi, she is from Mindu Film and Television College and a senior. Her again? Why is she everywhere? Chen Mingqi rolled her eyes. This rival, why is she so persistent? How come I keep running into her everywhere? If Chen Mingqi remembered correctly, this was already the 4th time she had run into her this month, right? What a buzzkill. Just now, my boyfriend and I finished eating Japanese food not far away and were planning to take a stroll, but we ran into you. Chen Mingqi and Chen Hao happened to be sitting by the window. These are glass French windows, so you can see in from the outside. By the way, darling, how much did we just spend at the Japanese restaurant? Lu Yanyan asked deliberately. His boyfriend was not very old, just a young man in his 20s. He said, we spent 4,700 yuan. Darling, next time, I'll take you somewhere more high-end. Saying this, the young man deliberately put his arm around Lu Yanyan's waist. It's true, this woman's face is not outstanding. But her figure is not bad at all. By the way, our school beauty, why don't you go try some Japanese food? It tastes much better than here. Oh, I see. It's not that I don't want to go, but you can't afford it. A meal costing thousands of dollars is not something you plebeians can afford. This is your boyfriend, right? He's quite handsome, but why can he only afford to take you to this rubbish that costs a few tens of dollars? Unlike my boyfriend, who casually takes me out to eat for thousands of dollars. As soon as Lu Yanyan opened her mouth, Chen Hao knew that she had a grudge against Chen Lingqi. Originally, Chen Hao had no intention of getting involved. But why did this woman drag herself into it for no reason? Who says that Japanese cuisine is better than my Chinese barbecue? Chen Hao gave a cold smile. Are you deaf? Did I just say that? Lu Yanyan had a haughty expression on her face. Island cuisine is just better than Chinese barbecue. Just look at the price. In front of island cuisine, Chinese barbecue doesn't even have the qualifications to hold his shoes. Chen Hao shook his head in private. This woman has already become a foreign admirer to the bone. There is no cure. The fans in the live broadcast room witnessed everything that just happened throughout the entire process. Everyone was furious. My motherfucker, licking like this, what is this woman's background? Western flattering trash, I don't know how many people have been used, I would not even want to touch it. Damn it, is she that impressed after just one meal of Japanese food? I don't know how many men she had to sleep with to get this meal. It's obvious that she is no good. Everyone, calm down, with local tyrant here, what's the rush? Just wait and see this stupid woman get her face slapped. Yes, just wait for brother local tyrant to slap her in the face. This stupid bitch doesn't know what kind of person she's dealing with, does she? Let the storm rage on. Ding, mission issued, slap the face of the Western admiring Lu Yanyan. After completing the mission, you will receive a reward of 500 million stock funds. As soon as he heard this reward, Chen Hao was directly happy. Slap someone in the face and get 500 million in funds? This is a good deal. Chen Hao no longer indulged her and directly confronted her. Western admiring thing, after eating Japanese food once, your butt is up in the air, what are you? Chapter 27 Chapter 027 I'll show you what the world's top sports car is like. You think I'm nothing? Then what are you, a poor guy who can only take your girlfriend out to cheap buffets? Lu Yanyan shot back without any hesitation. Don't think that just because I'm good looking I won't scold you. How dare you mock me, you little shit. Chen Lingqi suppressed a laugh. You called Chen Hao a poor guy? You don't know that he drives a Bugatti worth 50 million. And you actually went to provoke him? If you anger this guy, I'm afraid even Jesus can't protect you. Hold it in. Don't laugh. But she really couldn't hold it in. She burst out laughing. Ha 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 ha. You're killing me. You really are killing me. How dare you call him a poor guy? You're really killing me. Chen Lingqi laughed so hard she fell over, leaving Lu Yanyan completely baffled. Did I say something wrong? Is it that funny? At this moment, Lu Yanyan suddenly noticed something extremely unusual. Hugging her boyfriend, she saw that his gaze was fixed on Chen Lingqi. Li Dasun, 23 years old. When he was young, his family was very poor, but they were lucky enough to be selected for demolition. His grandparents' house and his parents' house were both demolished. In total, he was compensated with 7 apartments and more than 4 million yuan in cash. Then, with the 4 million yuan in cash, his father sold 3 apartments and invested 7 million yuan in the seafood business. Currently, the family's assets have exceeded 100 million yuan. As the only child in the family, Li Dasun has since lived the life of a second-generation rich man with no worries. A proper nouveau riche. From the moment he entered the door, he noticed Chen Lingqi. 1 word, pretty. 2 words, really pretty. Compared to Chen Mengyao, she suddenly felt that Lu Yanyan was not attractive at all. The man who seduced me? Bitch. Lu Yanyan didn't dare to stay here any longer, not because she was afraid of being embarrassed, but because she felt that if she stayed, her boyfriend might be seduced by Chen Mengyao. This was not the first time this had happened. The reason why Lu Yanyan had a grudge against Chen Mengyao. It was mainly during their sophomore year. Lu Yanyan had been dating her boyfriend for half a year when he suddenly told her that he liked Chen Lingqi and that they should break up. They had already gone out and slept together. How could you tell me now that you like someone else and want to break up with me? I'll be damned. From then on, Lu Yanyan hated Chen Mingqi, always feeling that she had seduced her boyfriend away. Honey, I'm not feeling well, so can you take me back to the dorm? Lu Yanyan snuggled up to Li Dashuan's arm and said in a high-pitched voice, I still want to experience the style of your Porsche 911. By the way, Chen Mingqi, how are you going back? I'm going back to the dorm now, do you want a ride? But I'm sorry, my boyfriend's Porsche 911 only has 2 seats, there's no room for you. Lu Yanyan was obviously mocking Chen Mingqi. Showing off a Porsche 911? Chen Hao was speechless and shook his head. In the world of real sports cars, the Porsche 911 is not even considered an entry-level car, so what's there to brag about? In the eyes of ordinary people, the Porsche 911 is definitely a ceiling-level existence. But in Chen Hao's eyes, a car that costs over $1,000,000 is really not considered anything. There was nothing he could do. The supercars he owned were really awesome. Not even considered an entry-level car? What a big head. Li Dasun felt Chen Hao's blatant contempt for him and was very unhappy. Who are you to know how much a Porsche 911 costs? Chen Hao simply didn't bother to pay any attention to Li Dasun. He wiped the oil stains from the corner of his mouth with a paper towel and looked across the seat at Chen Mingqi. I'm full, how about you? Chen Mingqi touched her round belly. I'm full too, I haven't eaten this much in a long time. Chen Hao stood up. I'll take you somewhere. Chen Mingqi asked in return, where? Chen Hao smiled. Let's go to the parking lot, I'll show you what a real world-class supercar is like. Chen Mingqi was instantly excited at the prospect. Does that mean I can take pictures of the interior of a Bugatti? Hee. If I can really take pictures of the interior, I'll definitely get a lot more followers. At this, Lu Yanyan sneered. The style of a top supercar? You really make me laugh. A poor guy who can't even afford island cuisine is still daydreaming about driving a top supercar? You can't even fake it that well. Honey, let's go, ignore them. Lu Yanyan and Li Dasun left together. When the two arrived at the parking lot, they saw a crowd of people gathered in front of them. They walked over to find out that they were just gawking at luxury cars. My Nima? Poison? Wind's Sun? A Koenigsegg 1? I'm not hallucinating, am I? Li Dasun was beside himself when he recognized the 3 supercars. Even he had never seen these cars in real life before. Lu Yanyan was curious and asked, Honey, what are these cars? They look really cool. Are they better than your Porsche 911? Li Dasun immediately covered her mouth. Unfortunately, it was too late. People around them were already casting strange looks, and some even sneered, what a big-breasted idiot. Her hair is long but her knowledge is short. How dare she compare the 911 to these 3 divine cars? Ignorant. Lu Yanyan had never been treated like this before, and she wanted to retort. Li Dasun stopped her. If you don't know, just keep quiet. It's embarrassing, do you understand? Do you know how much these 3 cars cost? Lu Yanyan shook her head. How would I know? Li Dasun pointed at the Wind's Sun. This car, the Pagani Zonda, is known as a legend in the sports car world and sells for as much as 50 million. What, 50 million? Lu Yanyan was really shocked. She had seen many luxury cars growing up, but this was really the first time she had seen a 50 million supercar. This car, the Lamborghini Veneno, sells for 70 million. Shocked, right? And there's something even more shocking. The one in the middle, the Koenigsegg one, costs over 100 million yuan. Even if I sell all the houses in my family and my father's company, I can barely afford to buy this car. So, do you still want to compare my Porsche 911 to these 3 cars? Lu Yanyan shook her head vigorously. There's no comparison. The Porsche 911 is not even worthy of holding their shoes. But I just don't know whose car this is. It must be a super rich second generation who was countless times more powerful than Li Dasun, right? Hey, I'll just wait here for the owner to appear, and maybe I can hook up with one. At this time, Chen Hao and Chen Mingqi walked over talking and laughing. Chapter 28, Chapter 028, the 3 young masters gathered together, so there's going to be some good drama. There are still so many people? It's also fortunate that the parking lot has arranged for security guards to watch, otherwise it would definitely be scratched. Chen Mingqi was originally thinking that if there were fewer onlookers, then she could broadcast the luxury cars for a few more minutes. However, she underestimated the influence of these 3 luxury cars. There were now even more people gathered in front of the cars than before. By the way, where's your Bugatti? Why haven't I seen your supercar? Chen Mengqi looked around. In the entire parking lot, apart from these 3 supercars, there was a Porsche 911 not far away. There were no other supercars. I didn't say I'd drive a Bugatti here today. Chen Hao smiled. You didn't drive a Bugatti here? That's not good at all, won't they laugh at you to death? Earlier, you told me to experience the style of a top supercar, didn't you? You big liar. No. Thinking about this, Chen Mengqi suddenly realized something. Staring at Chen Hao with wide eyes in disbelief. Could it be that one of these 3 supercars is his? Yes. Yes. It's normal to own a Bugatti and another supercar. Which rich second generation doesn't own many cars? Who exactly is Chen Hao and what kind of family was he born into? Chen Mengqi became more and more curious about Chen Hao. On the other side, Lu Yanyan looked around expectantly with her eyes. Unlike those people busy taking photos and videos, she had only taken a few symbolic photos. Compared to the supercar, she was more interested in the owner of the luxury car. The owner of such a luxury car must be a second-generation rich kid. 3 cars, that means 3 owners. That means 3 chances. If she can get one of them, she will have truly entered the world of the rich. As for Li Dasan? Just dump him. She was only having fun with Li Dasan. She had planned to take advantage of him and then dump him. Dasan, tell me, who in Mindu can afford to buy this kind of car? Lu Yanyan asked. I can't afford it anyway. Li Dasan said, among our supercar club, there are not a few who can afford it, but there are probably very few who can actually buy it. Because people who buy these cars don't just have money. Lu Yanyan didn't understand, isn't buying a car just a matter of having enough money? You're thinking too simply. To buy this kind of luxury car, you need not only money, but also an assessment of your status. All those who can afford these cars are, for example, Middle Eastern princes, who are the richest people in the world. Top footballers, top stars, members of royal families. Wait. Ordinary rich people, you can't even think about buying one. There are not a few people in Mindu who can afford to buy one, but there are only a few who are eligible to buy one. Who on earth could it be? Could it be that mysterious local tyrant? Upon hearing this, Lu Yanyan immediately asked, mysterious local tyrant? What mysterious local tyrant? Li Dasan explained, just over an hour ago, a major event occurred in the world of supercars in Mindu. Rui Daishao lost a drag race on the Jiufeng winding road. Actually, losing once is normal. There are always people better than you, and there are always people better than them. What's scary is that Rui Daishao estimated that he was at least 20 seconds behind the other driver. Lu Yanyan was shocked, a Ferrari worth tens of millions of dollars still lost by more than 20 seconds? What kind of car was the other person driving? Li Daishuan's eyes were full of envy, a Bugatti Veyron. Lu Yanyan was confused, a Bugatti Veyron? What kind of car is that? I've never heard of it. Li Dasan patiently explained, let me put it this way, that car costs 50 million yuan. What? 50 million? Upon hearing the price, Lu Yanyan was shocked, is this Bugatti really that expensive? Then who is this mysterious local tyrant? Li Dasan glared at her, how would I know who he is? But whoever he is, he'll be my idol from now on. Li Dasan was still fantasizing about the day when he would meet his idol and cling to his leg when he saw Chen Hao walking towards the Pagani Zonda. And immediately shouted, what do you want, brat? Do you know how much this car costs? Can you afford to pay for any damage? Chen Hao gave him a look, idiot. He didn't even bother to respond to him. Sorry, you can't go near the car. The security guards in charge of guarding the car stopped Chen Hao. They didn't know whose car it was. But they knew that since the car was parked in their parking lot, they had an obligation to protect it. Chen Hao wasn't angry. Instead, he gave them a thumbs up for their conscientious attitude. This is my car, I'm here to pick it up, so can I go through? Everyone around him was taken aback. Wow, is that his car? Has the godly hero finally appeared after waiting for so long? This young man is really handsome in person and handsome in his car, my type. Take a photo, take a photo. Post it on WeChat Moments. Chen Mengqi guessed that one of the 3 cars was Chen Hao's. So at the moment she did not feel much surprise. Hey, I guessed it right, there is really one of his cars. Haha, you made me laugh, really made me laugh. A guy who can't even afford island cuisine actually said arrogantly that this supercar is his? How can you be so thick-skinned? Security guard, don't listen to him, he is just a poor loser, he can't possibly afford such an expensive supercar. If you let him pass, and if he bumps into something, you'll be out of a job. The security guard, upon hearing this, was even more unwilling to let Chen Hao pass. At this time, whoever said my Hao brother is a poor loser, step forward. A rather angry voice came from outside the crowd. The crowd turned their heads and saw three young men walking quickly over. The one in front was wearing a plaid shirt. The buttons on his shirt were undone to the third, revealing a bit of his chest, which he felt made him look cooler. Rue Dasha? Chan Dasha? Zhe Dasha? Li Dasan recognized the three at a glance. They were all members of the supercar club. He thought to himself, why are these three big shots here? Could it be? Oh, I understand. These three supercars must belong to the three of them. Li Dasan walked quickly over, licking his lips, smiling and extremely flattering. Young Master Rui, Young Master Chen, Young Master Zhe, you've come just in time. Someone was trying to get close to your car earlier, but I stopped him for you. Li Dasan is also a member of the supercar club. However, although they are both members, their statuses are worlds apart. This Rue Dashao is considered a figure at the top of the pyramid in the supercar club. Li Dasan can only be at the bottom, barely qualified to enter the supercar club. Situ Rue had met Li Dasan before, but he couldn't think of his name. He said coldly, are you the one who called my brother Hao a poor loser? Chapter 29, Chapter 029. This voice of brother Hao is comfortable to call. Situ Rue's interrogative tone and cold attitude made Li Dashuan's heart instantly feel cold. What's going on? Also, who was the person he just called brother Hao? Could it be? Realizing something, he was instantly terrified. Even the young Master Rue called him brother Hao? Who the hell is this person? Rue Xiao, it's me, Zaya Shunzi. We met last month at the Jufengshan circuit. Li Dasan smiled and fawned. Situ Rue didn't bother to respond. This kind of small person is as easy to crush as an ant. I'll deal with you later. Then, he walked quickly towards Chen Hao. Without the previous indifference, he showed a smile. Brother Hao, we meet again. Dust and Les, who were behind him, also called out together, Brother Hao. The three of them, Situ Rue, Fui Chen, and Su Rueja, were best friends. Since Situ Rue called Chen Hao Brother Hao, the two naturally did the same. Fui Chen and Su Rueja were meeting Chen Hao for the first time. From Situ Rue's introduction earlier, Chen Hao was not only a first-class driver, but also exceptionally handsome. They were very curious about what he looked like, a presence that could make Situ Rue, who never admits defeat in terms of good looks, feel inferior. Now that they had seen him. What a guy! He was indeed more handsome than Situ Rue, who was known as the most handsome man in the supercar club. However, as supercar enthusiasts, they admired Chen Hao's driving skills even more. His ability to defeat Situ Rue on the Jiufeng Highway was enough to make them respect him. Therefore, they called him Brother Hao from the bottom of their hearts. There were already quite a few people around. Someone recognized their identity right away. My goodness, isn't this the young master of the Longding Group and vice president of the Mindu Hypercar Club, Situ Rue? I also know the other two. The one on the left is Fui Chen, the eldest son of the Batu Navigation Group and a veteran of the Supercar Club. The one on the right is Su Rueja, also a remarkable person, who is said to control two listed companies and is extremely wealthy. These three are usually hard to see, so why are they all here at once? Oh, I see, they correspond to these three supercars, so these three top supercars originally belonged to them. But what I'm more curious about now is why they all call Xiao Gugu. Could it be that this handsome chap, who is so cool, has a more distinguished status than these three? Since they are all calling him Gu, he should at least say hello back, so Chen Hao politely greeted them, hello. Situ Rue began introducing, Brother Hao, these two are my brothers, Fui Chen and Su Rueja. Fui Chen and Su Rueja immediately held out their hands, Brother Hao. Brother Hao. The two men, who usually act condescendingly, lowered their posture at this time. Chen Hao shook hands with them. Chen Hao's approachable attitude also made Situ Rue and the others greatly like Chen Hao. Brother Hao, you are also here to admire the style of this supercar? It seems that Brother Hao is also a true car enthusiast. Situ-Rue said with a smile. It's not that he can't afford these 3 cars, it's just that there's nowhere to buy them. He thought that Chen Hao was here to see the cars, just like everyone else. See the cars? Chen Hao laughed. Then he took out a set of car keys from his pocket and pressed them lightly. Beep. The Pagani Zonda parked on the far left suddenly had its headlights turn on. Unlocked successfully. My car is parked here, I've come to pick it up. Chen Hao gave a harmless smile. The whole crowd suddenly fell silent. Everyone's eyes were fixed on Chen Hao, wide-eyed and dumbfounded. My goodness, is he really the owner of this luxury car? Li Dasun was stunned. Holy cow, is this car really his? Earlier, I mocked him for coming? Lu Yanyan was even more dumbfounded, her mouth almost forming an O shape from surprise. This car is 50 million, is it his? Isn't he a poor guy who can't even afford island cuisine? Then she began to feel jealous of Chen Mengqi. Why was it that she was able to find such a rich boyfriend, while she could only find someone like Li Dasun? The more she thought about it, the more unbalanced her heart became, and the more jealous she felt. Then, Li Dasun didn't seem so attractive anymore. Looking at the dejected-looking Lu Yanyan, Chen Mengqi finally felt like she could let her hair down. This feels great. And when Lu Yanyan's jealous eyes looked over, Chen Mengqi deliberately shifted her feet in Chen Hao's direction. They got a little closer. Seeing this, Lu Yanyan became even more jealous. Oomph, what's so great about you? There are 3 luxury cars here, and your boyfriend's is the worst of the 3. There are 2 other cars, so there are 2 other owners. I still have 2 chances. If I take either one, it won't be any worse than your boyfriend's. Lu Yanyan already had a plan in mind. If the other 2 owners showed up, what method should she use to quickly win them over? Holy shit, Hao, this car is yours. I already admire you for getting the Bugatti Veyron, but now you've got a Veyron too? I can't find the words to describe how impressed I am, little brother. I'm impressed. Li Dasun, who was standing nearby, couldn't contain his excitement when he heard this. He's the owner of the Bugatti Veyron? Oh my god. The news that Situ-Rue had lost to a Bugatti had already spread far and wide. Li Dasun finally understood why Situ-Rue had lowered his stance so much towards Chen Hao. Anyone who knew Situ-Rue well knew that. He had 2 great passions. First, mature women. He would never go for anything less. It just wasn't enough. Second, supercars. This was a man who would defend the dignity of supercars with his life. He had lost to a Bugatti. If it was just a matter of losing a few seconds, with some hard training, he might be able to catch up to him. But it was more than 20 seconds. Situ-Rue knew very well that he would never reach that level in his lifetime. He had lost. He was completely convinced. From that moment on, he began to admire Chen Hao. He called Chen Hao brother Hao, and he truly admired him from the bottom of his heart. By the way, Hao Go, whose cars are the other 2? They must be your friends, right? I'm curious who owns them. I don't know if I'll be recognized. In Situ-Rue's opinion, the supercar club was already the pinnacle of the Mindu supercar scene. Now it seems that he really was ignorant. He remembered what his father had once told him: there are people beyond people, and mountains beyond mountains. He now truly understood the meaning of these words. Those truly unassuming super-local tyrants are all great hidden figures in the world. I don't know if I'm qualified to blend in with Hao's circle. As Situ-Rue thought this, something that made him stunned again happened. He saw Chen Hao take out another set of car keys from his pocket. He gently pressed them. Do. The sound of unlocking suddenly came from the car that had been parked quietly. Then, the headlights around it lit up. Situ-Rue was stunned. Fui-Chen and Su-Rueja widened their eyes. Li Dasun was so surprised that he could have stuffed an ostrich egg in his mouth. Lu Yanyan was so surprised that she could not speak. Even Chen Mengqi was full of disbelief. This car, too, is his? Chapter 30 Chapter 033 Luxury Cars in a Row. Rue Xiao is convinced. Chen Hao looked at Situ-Rue with a harmless smile. This car is also mine. What? This car is also yours? At this moment, Situ-Rue was overwhelmed with shock. With a Bugatti Veyron and a Pagani Zonda, even poison is his? Where the hell did this genius come from? How could there be such a powerful figure in Mindu? How come I've never heard of him before? At this time, Situ-Rue thought of something even more terrifying. pointing to the only remaining Koenigsegg one, "You're not going to tell me that this car is also." "Yes, this one is also mine." As Chen Hao spoke, he took out another set of car keys and pressed them lightly. Beep. Unlocked successfully. "Brother, you are truly my idol." Situ Rue was completely shocked. Even the president of the club could not get his hands on a supercar of this level. He had originally thought that the 3 cars belonged to 3 people, but he never imagined that they belonged to just one person. So what means did he use to buy so many top-class sports cars? At this level of sports car, Situ Rue could not get even one. The main reason is that there are really very few of these cars. They were already booked before they were even produced. Situ Rue instantly judged that Chen Hao's identity and background were absolutely extraordinary. It was very likely that his background was even stronger than the president's. Otherwise, how could he get so many cars? "This is a Koenigsegg 1, priced at 100 million yuan, awesome." Situ Rue looked unusually excited. "Brother Hao, can I add you on WeChat for future contact?" Chen Hao didn't refuse, took out his phone, and added him on WeChat into his phone contact list. Seeing this, Fui Chen and Su Ruizhi thought this was definitely a good opportunity to get close to the big guy, and shamelessly asked for Chen Hao's contact information as well. This scene fell into the eyes of the people around them, and they were really dumbfounded. In the past, it was always other people licking their share, but today it was them licking other people. Who the hell is this Chen Hao? After adding WeChat, Situ Rue sent an invitation. "This kind of brother is like this. I also love sports cars, and I have more than 10 supercars at home, but I just can't get a car as awesome as yours." Situ Rue looked at the 3 supercars with burning eyes. He originally wanted to say if he could let him feel the style of the car. To be honest, he was itching to drive one. But if he just said so, Chen Hao would probably say no. So he immediately changed his tone. "Brother Hao, you're going to drive this car back, right? You can't drive all 3 by yourself, so why don't you let me help you?" Fui Chen and Su Ruizhi also reacted at this time. They were also supercar enthusiasts, and when they came across such luxury cars, there was no reason not to want to feel them. "Brother Hao, I'll drive one for you too." "And me, I'll drive one too." Chen Hao was originally worried that he would have to make 3 trips to get the cars back, but now they were offering to help, which was perfect. He threw the car keys to them. The 3 men who received the car keys were very excited. Situ Rue chose the Koenigsegg 1, while Fui Chen and Su Ruizhi chose the Venom and the Windchild. "Now do you still think that Japanese food is better than Chinese barbecue?" Chen Hao's gaze fell on Li Dasan, who was so scared that he almost burst into tears. "You are such a big shot with such an esteemed status. Why would you go with your girlfriend to eat cheap barbecue to pick up girls? If I didn't eat barbecue, I wouldn't have misunderstood you, would I?" Misunderstanding. Li Dashuan's forehead was sweating with cold sweat. "Misunderstanding your mother's ass." Seeing this, Situ Rue kicked him, and Li Dasan was sent tumbling to the ground. After the kick, Situ Rue realized that he still didn't know what had happened between them. Pointing at Li Dashuan's nose, he yelled, "Speak up, you little shit. How did you offend my brother Hao?" Li Dasan was about to cry. "Young Master Rue, you kicked me without even figuring out what happened? Can we talk about reason?" Li Dasan dared not say it, believing that if he said one more word, he would be beaten again. Seeing that Li Dasan did not say anything for a long time, Situ Rue got lazy and stopped asking. He kicked him twice again as a warning. "Listen carefully, from this moment on, you are expelled from the supercar club." "Damn it, get the hell out of here." Li Dasan felt really aggrieved, but he didn't dare say anything. The other person was the young Master Rue, and he didn't dare to have the slightest revengeful thoughts. Where would he dare to stay? He ran away, looking disheveled. Lu Yanyan immediately chased after him. "Pull the car door." The result. He pulled the door several times but it didn't open. "Honey, open the door." "Open the door? Damn it, you stupid bitch, if you hadn't been acting like a demon, would I have offended Chen Hao? If I hadn't offended Chen Hao, would Rue de Xiao have held a grudge against me? Damn it, you still want to get into my car, go to hell." After saying this, Li Dasan didn't care at all about how Lu Yanyan would react. The roaring engine started up and soon disappeared, leaving Lu Yanyan in the wind, disheveled.